Buttery smooth. How's it going? I'm just laughing at the word haunts. Stab just wrote in chat the word haunts. It's a funny word. Welcome back to Metropole Grid. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's been a couple weeks. I haven't streamed for a while. We went on holiday. It was a really nice time. But then you forget what to do. You're logging into stuff. You forget what you have to launch. What levels do everything have to be at? I have no idea. Hopefully you're doing well. We've been gone for a bit. There's been no news, right? There's been no news. Hey, Stab Tabby, how's it going? Haunts. Lazy, how's it going? Yo, Cephalopod, yo, how you doing? Great to hear your voice on the Null Signal Games podcast, which just dropped for me today. It might have been yesterday. I just figured it out today, so well done with that. Hey, Izzy, how's it going? I was gonna say, I guess we're coming on the last third of the summer. How's that been so far? Ready for U.S. Nationals East Coast Edition coming right up. Patrick Sklar. So when I asked if we were streaming tonight, and you said I have to take my horse to the vet, that was... The horse is going to be fine. I'll see you tomorrow. Next week, I mean. So we haven't done a pat stream this week because we're like, why don't we do it when there's spoilers and stuff to talk about? And that turns out it's going to be next week. It looks like the set is going to be... The set comes out in like a week and a bit. Again, we popped out, and as soon as we pop out, they announce the set. That's kind of how it works. But the new set is out in like, what, 10 days? So I'm assuming we're going to have a lot more stuff to talk about in terms of like spoilers as of next week. Speaking of that, stay tuned to this channel next week at some point, and you might see some new cards. I will say more if I am prodded. Sophie, how's it going? Also great to hear your voice on the last Neon Static. You said some really nice poetic stuff, and then I think you ended it with like a very nonchalant whatever, or anyways, something like that. It was very funny. Hopefully you're doing well. Yo, Solomon, how'd it go on the West? Did you bribe Andre with scoops? You probably should have done that. How was your Nationals? Congrats on that. It looks like a success from what I've seen. What was Eric playing? He was playing Asa? I want to know more about that. Frank, how are you doing as well? Also, Neon Static. Eric, how are you doing? Bummed to hear they can't make it out on in August, but congrats. Neon Static, recently they just put up a podcast where it's like interviews from the last startup tournament, and it went really well for the Neon Static folks. I think it's really important to pay attention to this because slowly that poison starts to seep into your veins where you go to a tournament and then you do well, you win the tournament, and then you start like realizing that you really like that feeling. So then the next tournament you go to, like, you know, those like kind of decks that you're building on your own, you kind of push them aside and you start net decking, and then you go to that event, and then the most important thing, it's not fun anymore. No, it's not fun. It's about winning. And so then you get that high for a while, and you ride, it begins. I would want to say, and like, this is an unfortunate thing about I know you played one of my decks, and that deck should have snare in it. I was actually called out. I know you said you didn't play with snare and you liked it without snare, but I do think in startup, if you're going to play that deck, you should play snare. So congrats for doing it well without the snare in it, because it was a bit of a... Snare is just not good for content on video. It's not really good. Hope you had a great one. Lazy, I did. Thank you. Hey, Julian, how you doing? Macaroni, how you doing as well? Happy Scoopsness Ease Parchment Engineer. How's it going? Welcome to the channel. I love mutilated JPEGs. Then when Haunts comes from, I don't know what Haunts is. It's funny. It's an image of a horse with borked proportions. Okay. All right. It's a very exciting time for all kinds of reasons. It is a very exciting time. I think everybody's like incredibly stoked for a lot of stuff. And like, it's not only exciting time, but like everything suddenly kicked into like 11th gear. Like, we'll talk about this when the news comes up, but like Continentals is going to be the new meta. That shouldn't have happened. Apparently, yeah. There's gonna be APAC is in the new meta. Like, the cards are gonna be out for like 2 days, and they're like, "Here, have a Continentals." Like, what the heck's happening? Some Americans debate this, Andre. Make sure it doesn't happen again. It's definitely gonna happen. I feel like in the West Coast so far, there's been like more of an established like people trading, going from America to Canada and Canada to America for events. Here in Montreal, there's been like some very brave folk crossing the border. I don't think any Montrealers have crossed down on from the border, so I'm hoping folks do come up. I still don't have my passport. It's not going to matter for Sunday, or not for Sunday, for August, but I'll have to figure it out. It was today in Psych for some Netrunner podcast. Exactly. Jacobo, how's it going? If you don't undermine every rant you go on by ending it with okay or something, I don't know. What are you doing? Yo, Eric, new cards for Cascadia. Yo, I'm very stoked for that. I think that's actually such a big difference. That's going to have huge amounts of excitement for Cascadia. I want to ask Eric, did you push for that? Because I have no doubt that like you are way more interested in, and mind you, White Blade is Eric Keelback, who's running, one of the people running Cascadia. Mind you, one of the people, I think Cephalopod is too, if I'm not mistaken, which is the big US Continentals, which is happening in person, or sorry, North American Continentals. It's happening in person in Seattle in just about 2 weeks. I think you're going to be able to get cards there, if I'm not mistaken. Like, there's some interesting things going on, but having that be a premier event, it's going to be one of the biggest in-person Netrunner events. Obviously, Canadian Nationals might come at you, but having that being in a new thing is really, really exciting. We definitely did a lot of angle shooting. This is where the conversation comes up too, because like stirring the pot here to some extent. How do people feel about playtesters? Like, I feel like this is the weirdest thing to me, where there's a prestige event, like a Continentals, 2 days after a set comes out. Which, like, oh man, that's a huge playtester edge. And like, I don't know if I'm playing in Continentals, but like, I think you're going to see it. I'm pretty sure that you're going to see it in these events. Players who might know the cards for longer might have a bit of an edge. Playtester edge is a real myth. We'll see. You can't let an American win Nationals. Whiteblade, you want to tell Andre what you played at Nats? Yeah, Eric, what did you play in Nats? Like, were you playing Boom Asa? I looked at the standings and you were playing Asa and I was very confused. I wasn't expecting that. Also, like, if you look, and we'll see the results of Canadian Nationals, it's like the same deck, the top 5. It's not as like, I think we just had, what's it called? Last weekend, we had a meta test, and that meta, accelerated meta test, that meta was like very, very kind of homogenous. It wasn't the homogeneity you expected, but like a lot of the top players were playing the same stuff. You're not allowed to say. Why? Because you're going to bring it to Cascadia? You can't do that. We're reaching Hoshiko Singularity. Was Hoshiko Singularity that bad at Canadian Nationals? Because at Accelerator Meta Test, Hoshiko was like, I think more than half the field. Which, like, whoops. We'll see what happens about that. My testing group is playing East Coast Nats, brother. Oh, because East Coast Nats is like before it. Yeah, right. So East Coast Nats is like 2 days before the new set comes out. Oh, yeah, that actually is important. Okay, yeah. Hey, Cror, how's it going? Thank you for your comment. I was like really nervous waiting for you to respond to the rules video, worrying that I really messed it up, but apparently we're on track, and I appreciate the thorough feedback. Yeah, Hoshiko was wild at the AMT. I haven't had time to watch AMT yet because I wasn't here when it happened, exactly. I watched a bit of it from Bridgman's side. You can watch Bridgman play through, and it's pretty fun. But yeah, Hoshiko is kind of just like, I don't know, I played a Netrunner event on holiday, and like, yeah, it's Hoshiko. And I do think you're seeing some people come back around. Like, you're seeing the big Hoshiko decks. I think you're seeing people playing smaller Hoshiko decks. And so, like, we're kind of coming full circle to some extent. But yeah, Hoshiko seems like an issue. Hoshiko is every runner at Cannats except for 2, I think. Wait, was it that bad? Was it actually that bad? Okay, so we're here. Canadian Nationals, 18 players. Nice. Hoshiko was... Okay, so there was 18 players here. Hold on. So, right, like, the bottom always of any meta is people who are generally, you know, playing what they like to play. More often, they're, you know, usually they're there to have fun. I don't mean to be cast, like, you know, down on someone. But if you look at, like, from 10 to 1... I don't think I've seen a meta that homogenous. I don't think I have. I've been playing Netrunner for a long time. Maybe we have, but I would be hard pressed to think of a meta where like from 10 to 1, there's one non-Hoshiko. Oh, yo, Cody, you sent me a message and I didn't respond. I got over my holiday. I need to respond to that. How you doing? So glad we're getting new meta for cons. Yeah, me too. I'm like really, really stoked to see new cards, let alone rotation, let alone maybe a ban list change. I don't know. There's a lot that's going to be happening in the next couple days. And again, APAC being 2 days after, it's so wild. Medium-sized Hoshiko lurking. Yeah, I think we're getting like close to honest Hoshiko. Like if we kept playing this meta, it's obvious that Hoshiko's busted, but that's fine. Meta's finished soon. Yeah, and I'm actually like really interested to see whether the new meta, whether like just losing the bin breakers does enough to like curb Hoshiko. Because like what else? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know whether this is something that has to be addressed outside of this, whether it's specifically this meta, whether the court meta is going to change how attracted people are to Hoshiko, but just like good stuff Anarch, barring the breaker problem, seems like it survives the rotation pretty well, if I'm not mistaken. We'll find out. Just got posted to YouTube. I'm looking forward to watching it. Wait, sorry, Izzy, what did? Orange card strong D&D. How's it going? Don't count my contribution to Cannats meta. I just played to have an even number. Oh, nice. Oh man, there were 10 hosts out of 18 at Cannats, and they ended at spots 1 to 9 and 11. Yeah, Bink Bonk, how's it going? Yeah, that's kind of messed up. That's kind of real weird. Check AMT. Yeah, AMT is like kind of equally bad. I remember looking at the AMT results pretty quickly, but if we go to accelerated meta test, which should be this one, 23 players, and we're looking at like, okay, so there's a pie graph behind my head, 69.6% Hoshiko. That's not Anarch, that's Hoshiko. That's Hoshiko. More than 2 out of 3 players at the event are playing the same ID. So the top cut, all Hoshiko. And then again, from 1 to 7, just Hoshiko. You see 4 9s. Oh my god. Help. Oh yeah, that's pretty bad. Andy Sucker versus Fastro? Yeah, maybe. I think some of the older stuff maybe, but the card pool was smaller to some extent. You might expect that. Like there was only 2 criminal IDs, right? So it's like, were you playing Andy or you're playing Gabe? But yeah, that's weird, huh? No offense taken about play what you like. Like I know my big Tau deck belongs. Go look at Worlds 2016. I can't find it here. I have to find it on a coup or something. Yeah, but maybe. Yeah, AMT was 70% Hoshiko. That's so wild. To be honest, I think the whole discussion is kind of missing the point. The question shouldn't be that just because the deck is dominating, it's bad. The question should be whether those games are interesting to play. I think it's both, like, right? Like, so, I think, Eric, that people want to sit against an opponent and try and play something different through an event. Like, it was very likely that you went to this event and the only runner you played against is Hoshiko. Whether playing against Hoshiko is, like, the most fun or the least fun, like, that's still a problem you have to address. I think there's no way you don't have to address that. I do think you're right, though. Like, if the matchup is not fun or not interesting, like, that's a bigger issue, potentially. I'm like, though, regardless of the matchup, I'm just kind of bored of Hoshiko. And I do think I don't know. I feel like there's just a lot of money and a lot of value that's just constantly like a fire hose of value. And it's really hard to play around that. I don't feel like there's big lulls and I don't know. It's like so absurdly consistent that I feel like the narrative of most games is kind of flat. So I don't know. Yeah. Never mind there's variations within the Hoshiko decks. I don't think there's enough variations in most of the decks. I played against an APOC Hoshiko on last weekend. That caught me as a surprise. But I think most of these Hoshiko decks are like 80% the same. So I don't know how sheep go. Anywho, we got something weird this week, that's for sure. Shika plays out their hand, I blink and have 8 cards again. It non-stop. It is absolutely non-stop. Trying to find a scoring window sometimes can be very difficult. And like, yeah, it's on the corpse maybe. Like, that's also another thing. It's like we've been in a Hoshiko meta for a while. And so the question is whether Corpse can build around it to a way that punishes Hoshiko. We just haven't seen yet. And that to some extent is worrying. Not that like, I know I'm not either trying to push the deck building envelope against Hoshiko. Who knows? An individual matchup Val versus CTM is interesting, but that one year where there was the only matchup in Top Cut feels like the game isn't living up to its potential variety. Yeah. Admittedly, like Wizard or Val against CTM were actually like pretty interesting games. They were fun. But again, especially as somebody, you know, doing commentary or streaming, if the Top Cut games are all the same matchup, it's like, you know, you'd wish it would be different. Speaking of different, Cybernetics. There's an Az deck. It's from Cephalopod. Oh, hey, how's it going? All right, cool. So this is an Az deck. I'm a big Az fan. Az, really cool. You get a cheaper hardware or connection job. And you can save some credits. That's okay. This Az deck is just playing a lot of the, what do they call the cybernetics. So the payoff here, if you get the name, is that Tremolo is a breaker we really haven't seen break into standard in any meaningful way. But once this is up to strength, it looks actually really quite good. Understanding what fractors are going to look like at the rotation is one of the biggest deals going forward, and understanding what ice is good because we're losing Paperclip, and Paperclip has been largely the de facto fractor for the last like ever. So understanding that like Criminal has this sort of thing that you could consider splashing for one influence or consider playing in Criminal is like kind of interesting as much as it is kind of clunky, and you really need at least 2 cybernetics to feel somewhat good about this thing. But it's here and it gets cheaper. It breaks subroutines for free eventually once you get enough cybernetics down, and as in theory you can play a lot of cybernetics because you get some value from playing hardware. So we want to look at the deck. Looks cool. We are playing 3 Masterwork. Of course we are. We got a Panweave. This is the one cybernetic I don't think I've ever played. I don't know. I know it says cybernetic on it, but like against every criminal deck, you're icing up HQ to a point where the runs on it shouldn't be cheap enough. Immediately you have to run HQ. I think the only multi-axis in the entire deck is Wake Implant, which like kind of scares me. I like to have more multi-axis, specifically multi-axis 2 that's not attached to like, if they triple ice HQ, what are we doing? We can't get good value from this. So this scares me a bit, but that's kind of the problem with Panweave. Is that it's hard to make cheap runs on HQ. Az helps a bit with boomerangs, but you know what I mean. Sometimes it's too many eggs in one basket. It says cybernetic on it, so I guess we have to play it. We got the 2 Wakes, we got the 2 Zenith. Again, we need to find our cybernetics sooner than later if we want to rely on a Tremolo and not spend a pretty penny breaking stuff. We also have a single buffer drive. I think this card is the fits. It's cost 3 credits. It costs 1 influence. It's, mind you, maybe 2 credits with as, and allows us to do some recursion, allows us to not be ground out so easily. Admittedly, we have to find this card and install it before we're ground out. That sometimes doesn't happen if it's in the bottom of your deck. And then you can remove this hardware from the game to add a card from your heap to the top of your stack. And if you do that during a paid ability window and then install a piece of hardware during a paid ability window, however you want to do it during an action window, you can go draw that card clicklessly, sort of. So I'm not actually sure what we want to recur with this deck. There's not like a one card that's like super important. It's a flexible card for sure, but this seems like a card that it's probably not necessary, and you could do 1 influence on something else for sure. Otherwise, resources, Backlund. Backlund's sick. I kind of like Backlund. This card is just a bit better than it looks, I think. And we have 3 Nuka, who is a unique connection, so she comes down for 0. I think you can actually get pretty good card draw often with Az. This is a really important card sometimes to set up quickly. Whether you want to play this or play Diesel or even Blueberry Diesel to save some influence is always an interesting question. But Az is actually specifically a deck that you need to draw your parts in the right order. We have 2 Prognostic, 3 Masterwork. Generally, those are some of your most important pieces if you want to set up quickly. It's same with the Chesvas. So you do value the draw. I sometimes get a bit like awkward running 3 of a unique card that, mind you, while we do install this for 0 credits, we can't often like get all the cards off of this really quickly. So maybe we want to run less of these. Maybe we want to bounce these or balance these with like Diesel or another draw option, because yeah, it's a unique card. You can only have 1 down installed. So the second one's in your hand. And I think even when you're like in the mid game, you generally don't want to click that button because you're generally clicking while running and doing all your cool value engine and drawing for free. Miss Bones is great. I think if you want to be very meta-cognizant, you could probably play 2 of these. Red Team is like a pretty reasonable card in this deck. You have some run events. We don't have Dirty Laundry, which is a card I like a fair bit in these sort of lists, but it is a good way to get your run off central servers, get the Zenith chip, get all that Chesva value, prognostic, all the stuff you want to do. Telework. This is technically a job, and I feel like there's a lot of effort sometimes to put cards into as decks that have those job or resource or hardware, but the decks don't often struggle to install 1 thing a turn, so we're probably going to be installing Telework Contract for an actual credit every time we're playing it. So the question is whether you want to play Telework in this deck or whether you want to play Liberated Accounts or whether you want to play any other non-interactive economy card for that slot. It's kind of up to you. I just feel like sometimes you fall into this trap where like we have so many targets for our as ability and it's only once a turn that like there's a chance that Telework Contract is like maybe not the most necessary card for the deck. Maybe Daily Cast is just good enough because sometimes it's hard you want to hold this to save your credit next turn, you can install something else. Class Act is sick. Hold on, let me catch up on chat. Do you feel there's no meaningful difference between 45 Hosh and Big Hosh? I think there's a huge meaningful difference between the two. I think the meaningful difference comes to the matchup. I think if you're playing against like a personal evolution sort of grinder deck, having 20 extra cards, having 10 extra cards in your deck is the difference between like losing and winning pretty comfortably. Because you can say that like in the deck, you need to play out like 20 of your cards, and then you just have like this extra like breathing room to work with, which allows you to like face check into ice, allows you to take more net damage. I think that's a really big thing if you're expecting that thing in the meta. That being said, because there's so much Big Hosh, I think playing like that PE grinder type thing, not the sort of like the ones that play the actual assets you have to trash, that is a fair bit. It's like, I don't think it's a good thing to do. So like it kind of has a self-correcting meta sort of thing. I think also if you're relying really aggressively on Backlund, having some extra cards, not Backlund, Boundheart, having some extra cards is nice. I don't think it's exactly necessary, but it's definitely nice. But I don't think I've seen any Hoshiko deck themselves out consistently. So not exactly, unless the matchup really calls for it. So I'm not entirely and sold. I highly endorse the updates I put at the bottom. Okay, I'll check those out. Yeah, okay. I did cut it, lol. Sneak does count, but it'll fight Chesva. Oh yeah, Fungi, how's it going? Would Sneak better help get into HQ from archives, or does that not count for the hardware pieces? It totally counts. The problem is with this sort of deck is like we're reliant on Chesva, and that's kind of the problem with, I don't know if it's a problem with Netrunner, but inherently in the design of Netrunner. If you want to run 3 breakers, and then you want to run like 2 Chesva, what are you doing for MU? Now, there are some neutral MU cards that like Az can play slightly better than other people because Az can install them cheaper and clicklessly and draw cards and all that sort of stuff. But like, it's like just really hard to play these extra cards like Sneak Beta because they compete with all the other stuff you're doing. So yeah, it's hard. Otherwise, events, we have the basis stuff you assume we do. We have 2 mutual favor Definer breakers because we actually are going to use our breakers consistently. We have Diversion, Bravado. Diversion's really easy to play, especially because we have early boomerangs, and then we have the breaker suite you expect us to have, and a Unity, which is nice. Let's just see really quick what the odd card choices are and what changes I'm thinking about. Prognostic is actually quite difficult to work with. With this deck, you have 14 hardware and then like 6 programs. I think that's slightly lowered, but not that low. I think I like the card a lot, but yeah, you could definitely cut it. The top of the deck keeps changing. That's a constant issue by playing Class Act in these sort of decks. Is like it's kind of hard to get the top of your deck to work. Yeah, Mistbones, the second copy would be great. Buffer Drive, haven't installed it yet. HHN, I think Networking or Misdirection or Deuces Wild. I think you actually could consider a no-free, what's it called? No One Home is like very, very good. It's a really nice thing. You have a link that also gives you some legs into net damage. It's very cheap to play. I cut Prognostic Q-Loops because I found they weren't firing at all. I cut Buffer Drive. In their place, I've added a third Chesva, Scrubber, and Networking. Third Chesva is great. Okay. So for Networking, I don't know. I think Networking is okay. I think it's a bit better than it looks. I think you could play, like, if you want to deal with hard-hitting news, this is not, I think, you could play other things. I think instead of Networking, you can always decide to play Flip Switch, which allows you to clear a tag. No One Home is really nice. It allows you to deal with hard-hitting news, so you don't actually have to clear the tags. Scrubber is like pretty interesting, but I don't think I would play Scrubber in faction when we have Mistbones. Now, Scrubber allows you to trash anything. It doesn't have to be an installed card, but Mistbones is so good that spending an influence on a card that you already have access to, it's not unique though. Yeah, it's okay. Cool. Let's do it. Network immediately pulled its weight against a tag and bag outfit deck at Netrunner Night. Yeah, that's the sort of matchup where you play like No One Home, and then they can't do anything. Misdirection seems to be quite strong considering the Hoshiko decks from recent competitive events. I don't think I've seen Misdirection in any deck besides Adam, and then like Adam's okay, and then Shaper. But like the beauty of Misdirection is that you play it when you can, because you can pull it at instant speed. I think like classically just playing Misdirection in like any deck and like hoping you have it in time is probably not as good as just playing something that doesn't take up your MU or your influence. Like again, No One Home. It's just really easy to put on the table, and then you deal with it. Adam Black. Adam's actually really good. Adam's really fun. Adam's not as good as Adam used to be. I like Adam. I'm very fond of Adam. But you can play an Adam pretty recently. I'm not poo-pooing Adam. Adam's fun. Also, by the way, Daijin, how's it going? Are Hoshiko decks running Misdirection? Unironically, I don't think I've seen that yet. Because I don't like. How do you do it? You have 45 cards. You just hope you draw it. I don't know if that's worth the influence. Like I'd rather run Networking than that. Maybe. Hey, Gus says, I'm a big Misdirection believer. If you draw it, you can be real aggressive. If you don't, it's not a big deal. Yeah, but then you have to install it, and then like your turn is you're installing it, and then still spending 3 clicks anyways, and 4 credits. Like, I don't know. I just feel like if you're playing Hoshiko, you have Citadel Sanctuary. That's really good. If you're playing single tags, obviously that's better. You don't use Misdirection for single tags. You have No One Home if you really want it. You have Networking if you really want it. Deuces Wild is one of the best tag clearing tags cards. I'd be really surprised if I feel happy about it. What is this thing called? Oh, Tremendulous. I'm going to spell that right. Tremendulous. That's like close enough. Okay, so let's just make some quick changes. So we don't want to play the Buffer Drive, I don't think, anytime. What else are we considering cutting? Excuse me, real quick. Cut Chesva. Add a third Chesva. I like the third Chesva. We'll add a tag card. And we have an MU. Like, I don't know, we just play deuces, call it a day. What else do we want to spend 1 influence on? It was another Mistbones because it's nice not to lose to acids. I hate losing to acids. We honestly could just do that, float an influence. Q-Loops is the main cut. Oh man, I like Q-Loop a lot. I just like it as a card that I'm going to keep with it. I think you're right though, with 13 resources, Q-Loop might not be great for this deck. Yeah, okay, so let's try that. But yeah, I think 13 resources and then like 13 events, that's too much for Q-Loop. That's pretty overwhelming. So we'll just do like a No One Home, and then we'll do a deuces, and that'll be like fine. Okay. All in respect to our Byron baby. But when was Adam good? Sophie, Adam almost won Worlds. Adam came in like, what, 2nd or 3rd 2 years ago? The European testing group, NWE, thought Adam was the best deck in the format, and they almost won Worlds with it. It was 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. You can find the deck list. It was like back then when you had Rozeki and like all the very cheap neutral economy. That was like really easy to put in for low influence. But no, Adam almost won Worlds. Adam was good. Snare Bear, say hi. Yo, Jeff, how's it going? I had my Wednesday night off. I was excited to watch a stream. Wasn't a stream. I imagine there's a Snare Bears, the cabin thing or what have you. Hey, Izzy, let's do this. Clearly spend the influence on Whistleblower for that oboe tech. Hey. Thanks, you too. Sorry, I was in the car. Oh, like you were driving Wednesday evening. Right. Jankovic, we're watching from the Snare Bear Getaway Cabin. There it is. Hopefully you guys are having a good cabin time. What do y'all do out there that's not Netrunner? Like, what's the common Snare Bears activity? Are you just playing, what's it called? Radlands? Also, I'm getting Unbreakable in this weekend. It's coming in tomorrow, finally. And unfortunately, oh, I know what Izzy's playing. We need to miss Bones immediately. Unfortunately, that is the weekend that I have to do a spoilers video, so I'm not going to be able to touch it. Okay, we want an opening Miss Bones. We want open economy. This is a matchup where actually misdirection would be quite good because it's the hard-hitting news meat damage type op, I'm pretty sure. I know Izzy is preparing for East Coast Nationals. So this hand, like, early diversion is not great because they can duck it. The Masterwork is okay. The Nuka is, like, nice to have that draw button if we really want it. But I think the Sure Gamble is the only, like, really good card in our hand. We're going to mulligan this for a Miss Bones. That got worse, I guess. Hey, Andrew. Hope things are going good with you. How you doing? I'm doing well. We're streaming Radlands tomorrow. Wait, on what? Hey, Kat. We're setting up poker night. Oh, they changed the card backs. That's why. These look different. These look faded. That's really cool. How dare a streamer take a stream off? Tell me about it. D, how's it going? Big unit. Oh, yo, this is the whole Snare Bears crew. I take it you all are. Wait, are you all going straight for the cabin to East Coast Nationals? How long are you in a cabin for? The whole week? Yes, Unbreakable. We're playing Arkham, Spirit Island, Dune, Imperium. It's sick. Did I say best of luck? Have fun. Okay, thinking. So, firstly, I need to finish the Dune book. I'm working on it because I promised I wouldn't pick up the game until I read the Dune book. So I'm excited to do that. So we get this down as free. We can hit this will be on 8 cards. I botched the turn. We definitely want to get the telework down. So we want to hit the telework because our money up is really important. Then the question is whether we hit the Nuka. What is like a bad card we can throw out? Like an extra boomerang maybe? I think we need a Miss Bones. We probably should have just started getting our money up because that's the most important thing in the matchup is get your money up. So here I think we just draw 3 and we throw out our worst card. Worst card here is we're not going to need 2 boomerangs, I don't think. The Zenith chip is like not the most important thing, actually. That's fine. Okay, how's it going? We got a ton of Andre Echo going on. All right, cool. So this is what we think it is. This is the sort of like Arctic Blood type lists. I think these lists actually have been updated pretty heavily over the last kind of while. This sort of list won the AMT, if I'm not mistaken, as well. And there's like really interesting changes you're seeing these lists. Things like public trailers sneaking in. I do think End of the Line is a really natural fit for these sort of lists, but we have to watch out because economic warfare is the thing we're playing around. Bing Books finished the audiobook of Neuromancer. I feel silly for having played this game so long without knowing its real roots. Worth the listen and read if more diligent than I am. Yeah, I only caught up on like that seminal science fiction a couple of years ago where I did Snow Crash and Neuromancer, stuff like that. Yeah, it's really, really nice. It's like cool to see that stuff after, you know, you've seen everything else and you understand what it is. Just played my first game with Dances Up Earthquakes. That Spirit is built. Man, I know Spirit Island is such a good game and I've only consistently bounced off of it. All right, we're just going to get money up this turn. That's all we're going to do. We're not going to lose the game. We're just going to get credits. So we're going to do telework. This is pretty expensive. The chance of this drawing, we don't have dirty laundry. The chance of this drawing into an economy play, like, do we just install this and do credit? Can we afford to pay 3 credits to draw cards here? We would really need a top deck of Sure Gamble or Miss Bones. I think it's worth it. We have to get this off next turn. Now, she might ice it up this following turn, and that's the case. Like, the problem is if we take 4 meat damage, then she can, like, score out an Ozyef with an Audacity. I don't think the lists are on that many Audacities. And I think they're only on 1 Ozyef, so it's, like, pretty low. I think we're just going to keep our money up. Hopefully we get a Miss Bones here. Or a Dirty Laundry. We don't have a Sure Gamble. So this is actually really bad. That was really, really bad. Okay. Do you have some premium card backs without Nisei or will it be added for everyone? Staniak, this sort of card back, they just updated System Gateway. I think they announced it just last week. So if you want to get the cards without the Nisei written on the card back itself, they will sell them to you. And also they can replace them if you really want them to. Okay, this hand is really bad for contesting. So we don't have a Miss Bones. I do think these lists are also running some amount of Malia Zaloka. Okay, so we need to get our money up. We probably want to trash this. I would love to contest the Spin Doctor first, because I don't want to trash this and then let her shuffle it back in. We can't Bravado really easily. The diversion doesn't really do anything, because they just res stuff. So there's a small chance that we hit the Nuka. We can discard most of our cards in hand. We're not going to get ground out, he says. But yeah, if we had like a Miss Bones here, oh, this would be so easy. So I'm just going to go start here. We might get Harding News. We didn't draw her no one home either. I'm assuming there might be agendas in there. Yeah, so she popped that. Count Zero is the basis of a bunch of Netrunner stuff too. The Megacorp Mass Nanotech. Yo, I've never heard of that. Evening, Andre, coming to Cascadia Changeling. Unfortunately, I'm not. I'm very excited to watch the stream. I don't have a passport even yet, but I have a, it's like it's Cascadia. The next weekend is a wedding I have to be to, and then the next weekend is our nationals. So unfortunately, I can't make it. I would love to have been able to. So if there's an UZF on the table, we're more scared. So I think we'll just run server 1. The things that you have to be worried on the table, Rashida would be bad, obviously. What else would be bad? Svita Gore, we can't afford to trash. Like the worst case here is Izzy does like economic warfare, and she's been drawing a lot. So like we can just click for a credit here. We are throwing out a lot of cards, like that's for sure. There's no way around that. We could just Bravado HQ. What sort of ices does deck play? Like maybe there's a single mouseless that could be pretty ruinous. I think we're gonna go for it. I don't know what ices. If it's like in a what's it called? We're in a not great spot. If it's like a 4-bit carry, we'll just go through it. If it's an Afshare, like whatever. She still pays more than we do. We just need to get her credits up. We can't steal SDS. Yeah, that's fine. So now she's on 0. So again, bladderworts are the thing, but she won't have money. She will have money to res it because this will fire. So she paid 3, we gained 3. So at least we're not going to die this turn exactly. So this is our only multi-axis in the whole deck. We don't have Stargate, but that's okay. It's going to be really hard to diversion through this ice. Now we can always do boomerang diversion if she cracks it, so be it. But I think the diversion's probably not the most important thing. This is the card we're going to keep to set up. We definitely want the tremolo, so I'm just going to throw out these two. I think we'll survive another turn. Here, the worst case scenario would be a Rashida or a Svi and then trash, like, I guess the Nasex? I wonder why she res that. Is she going to trash one of these cards? How do you set these on JNet? I've got only FFG and Nisei option. To this is automatic. I didn't change anything. This was just in the last update. So Svi trash to face down. Okay, so she can... Holy shit. Wait, when did it have that many credits on it? Did that have counters on it before this turn? Oh, because of the border control. Holy shit. Oh, that was sick. So the border control got a credit, but then can she spend the credit to put on the Nasex? You crack the Nasex. Oh, so this is... Yeah, that was pretty explosive. Okay. So here we just need to draw into a Miss Bones and we're in an okay spot. That's cursed. I'm sad that it took me this long to realize that NSG is a play on the opening line of Neuromancer. Oh, tuned to the dead signal or whatever it is. Well, these all suck. So we drew no money. We drew no Miss Bones. We draw no new one home. We are required to trash everything here on the table. So I think we make one run and then we trash nothing. So this is the most busted card. But this is why you play Miss Bones, right? Like, I think we're probably going to receive punishment here. The sky above the port was the color of television tuned to a dead channel. Hey, Mutt, Count Zero is the best. Count Zero is my least favorite of the Sprawl books, but still good. The Sprawl series. Yeah, so we can get punished here for sure. I'm assuming 2 face downs were shuffled back were 2 agendas. And right, like if we get a Chesva on the table, we can start going off the top. Okay, so we threw out a Pinhole. Pinhole was probably better than one of these because we do have to deal with that sooner than later. Just get us like something. She also shuffled back an STS drone deployment. What is going on? So we hit this, we'll have 3 credits. So we can do the Bravado into server 6. Oh no, then we can still trash. I think we will do it. Oh man. We should be clicking for credits. Dead channel is null signal. Okay, that's still, she paid more than us. But here we just like click for credits. We probably can draw once. Like we didn't get hit last turn. We have to make a successful run for economic warfare. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so we're kind of safe. We can throw out a card here if we really wanted to. This is where we could go like boomerang for 1, diversion for 1, 2. And then she maybe feeds us a border control. That's not particularly good for us because then she can get a 3 coster. It will be an ice though. Yeah. Whatever. Weird, because I had the old one on JNet, some special browser thing. Yeah, maybe you want to do like Control F5 to hard reset. Check in chat if it says at the top with updates. I first read those words from Chiba City Blues, living in Chiba City. It was way less interesting than Gibson's version. All right, so that looks like an SDS drone deployment. I don't think there's anything else on the deck that you can score out here. So we could always put in a thing on the table and run and steal the SDS drone deployment. Now, if Izzy scores it out, she's not doing anything. There's a small chance that that's a really cool SZF bait. And like you put the SZF on the table and we think it's a SDS so that we don't run. And then this fires and then she scores that. We have to remember with an urban fire, she can get a 0 coster. So let's draw once for like a cheap thing. Oh, that's good. Those two are really interesting. Do we want money up front or do we want to make us trace twice? I think we'll do the trace twice. So we can always lose the tremolo and then we won't have the tremolo. So the only card that we can really easily throw here is, in theory, we can throw the tremolo, but then we still have to deal with sandstone. The problem is like that's going to be very expensive for this card. That like Amaku is probably how we deal with it. So we're going to lose our hand anyways. I think we need to check if this is an IZF. It's a really, really like niche play, but that'd be a very cool play. So I think we're going to run it. We're going to get down to no one home and just click for credit. We're going to lose our hand and maybe we die to Audacity. Is anyone's hyped for new meta can as needs? John, how's it going? I said that way wrong. I'm so happy that the Canadian National is going to be at a new meta. I think actually here we should install the tremolo. No, that's a really cool fork here. Because if we install the tremolo, okay, so we should have installed this and probably ran that anyways, because we're going to lose it no matter what. We knew that was an SDS, so we messed that up like pretty hard, if you ask me. We have a 20% chance of keeping this. So we might as well have fed it to the tremolo. I think if she scores that out, though, we're pretty happy. That's fine. What card are you most going to miss from rotation? Oh, Changeling, we're going to look at rotation probably pretty hard next week, if not even later today. It's hard to say off the top, but it's usually not it's like the weird niche cards you have. I would have to look. I don't know. So much attention goes to things like Boom and Hard Hitting News, and like, that's whatever. Okay, we lost the tremolo. So if we install the tremolo, like she just trashes it. But we're interested in her trashing that or scoring it. Working on prize support tonight for it. Remember that you were streaming some best background for that. John, what are you working on? We got this and I got the whole kit in. So we actually have this thing that says Canadian National Champion. That's a cool thing to have. Someone can come take that off of me come later this month or next month, excuse me. So there's a small chance that Izzy here can install. Okay, she's scoring that out. That's fine because she goes down to 1 credit and that's reasonable. Here we're just going to draw. We have a class act, but we just need to get the Miss Bones down, control the board, and then she has very little going on. She knows that we can't break barriers. Admittedly, we have only 1 more Boomerang, and we have admittedly 1 Amakua, which actually goes pretty far in the matchup. You hate to have to choose, but okay. I think we want to trash that. I think we just want to have slightly more money. So let's draw into an econ option. That's not it. This helps us, like, this is what we would ideally want to trash the SDS if we had it. I think we actually have to trash this thing. Because I think she sells this for another 1 coster and gets money. And right now the thing that she doesn't have is money. So let's make sure she just doesn't have money. And this thing means that we're really safe to Hard Hitting News because she has to beat us twice. And we have trace on both of those. So we're just going to try and keep that in check. I think mine's either Fairchild 3 or Mouseless. Yeah. We're losing a lot of really good big ice, but I think we're going to see a depowering of ice in general in the game. Rubicon Haters Club can finally rest. Yo, I'm in that camp. Hey, Cole, hope you're doing well. I totally burned myself. I'm playing like 300 games of Jaina in December and January, but I'm relaxed and refreshed and ready for new cards. Yo, you and I both, besides the burnt out thing. But I think everyone's super excited. Okay, CityWorks goes back into R&D. Something in Server 6 looks like a Rashida. She's making money off the drudge work as well. We have to keep that in mind. But let's get a Miss Bones right here. Yeah, nice. Okay. So here's where we transition to like controlling the game. So this is actually always worth trashing because once this is trashed, it becomes a 1 coster in the deck. So far, we've gone through 2 drudge works. So Miss Bones comes down for 1. We trash this for free. And then we need to get our Amakua down eventually. Oh, oops. Maybe a Molly at some point is annoying, but we just need to make sure we don't get really bad spot because if that pops off into Rashida, which I think is very likely, she's on 7 and we're on 6 with Link, which is like not great. And not directing people 2 hours of rambling on my channel. You're looking at rotation next week. I think next week is largely going to be spoilers week. Like generally here. And is anybody doing, Jeff, you're not doing the thing that you did last season, the that Ed also did before, right? The daily cast, I guess. Are you? But like we try to only talk about like the public spoilers. So we're going to talk about that. Pat's going to be around, but there'll be a bit of discussion. Okay, so it is the last urban renewal. Acrylic and metal ID is possibly some core damage tokens. You are doing daily cast. Okay, sick. I'm really looking forward to that. Taking a lot of notes for V3 on this deck. This is a weird matchup where like we're not interacting with our engine. This is just like basically keep the corp down, we can win. Unfortunately, this is like not the most exciting matchup because, you know, our cards matter, but only so much. So we have another pinhole. That'd be okay. Just getting money's pretty good. This comes down for a 0. We want to get the Amakua up. I think the Amakua we can probably do next turn. So we're just gonna get this down. We're gonna hit it. I don't think we want to show Amakua last click. If we showed the Amakua, like maybe she can ice up archives, but we always have access to version. We just want to do Amakua. We go through this for 2. We go through that for 3, which is free. So we'll just take money up. Like, again, we're just trying to do our homework. Ian, spoilers. We have some spoilers for the channel next week, but like community season and NSG season is all just 1 week next week. So it's going to be like really hype. It's just a lot of stuff going on. I'm literally figuring out the schedule right now. Okay, cool. Jeff, you have spoilers for your channel? All right, let's start doing stuff. So this card is going to do so much work. It like very quietly does work. Might be agendas in here. We'd actually want there not to be agendas. If it's a SDS, oh, that's a Formicary. Yeah. So if we go through the Formicary, we take 2 net damage. I think we either bounce here, run R&D and hope it's not an agenda. Because right now it's really important that we get an access or I wouldn't say lose the game, but we need to get an access and not an agenda. So I think we actually just let this fire. I do spoilers on my channel. Video's already recorded, but it's going to be a while before it's published. Okay. All right, we have to hope this is not an agenda in there. I'm assuming because she res it's not. Okay, it's a public trail. So this is the version that was at AMT. So we can run this, run that if we really want to. I'm not worried about snare. I don't think that made it into the lists. And so then we can either check server 10, which I think we have some good reason to do. Oh. Oh, we lost the game. Oh, GG. Credit perfect. Oh, I forgot about that card. Oh, if we were smarter, we had to draw a card here. Oh, that's so good. Oh, we had to draw a card here. I forgot about this one. We could have played around this. So this is if we trash this, we take 2 meat damage. That kills us. And unfortunately, this does 4 meat damage. So we have no way to draw 3 cards in a single click. So here, yeah, we had to draw once and run to play around the hostile architecture, which was like totally possible. So that's on us. If we drew once and then ran, if we wanted to play around this thing, which like there's 3 of them in the deck, so we probably should have seen it coming, we'd have been okay. We also had to keep 1 card in hand in case it was Bladderwort. So unfortunately, that's the game. Damn, yeah, we were doing okay. We're doing okay. This is something I need to learn to play around. That's really cool. Hostile Architecture is a surprisingly good card. You often, like, it's a card that often costs you the game when people res at the wrong time. But, like, that's, you know, the same for any card that cost this much money. All right, well, good game. I got to play Hostile Architecture IG in draft today. Oh, no. All right. All right, we get blown up. Yeah, I think if we drew a card there, I think Izzy's in a bad spot. But good game. That's cool end. I need to respect that big end. Yeah, we just had to draw there. And I think that game from this point out with like 3 hostiles, or sorry, 3 of these in the bin is like going to be pretty difficult. So she needs to transition to ice, which is kind of hard. Yeah. Yeah, I needed to draw 1 there. Forgot about that. Yeah, I think I should have installed the what's it called? The Fractor and gone for the SDS. I was just checking in case you had a next level ZF play, but I didn't realize I was going to lose the Fractor no matter what. Yeah, we're not in a huge rush to steal 3 points. This is not a mad dash deck, so like I don't think we have a huge incentive to like really rush points, because this is actually like I think a lot of the ob decks have been actually okay at scoring out. This one's maybe a bit weaker than the other one, but it builds these forks where there's like a City Works on the table. You just can't deal with it. Yeah. It's such a niche card to play around though. This deck though has 3 of them, and we hadn't seen any. So I think with this deck has 3 of them, like this is the big thing. is what we did with the last click there wasn't too important. The only thing we get blown out by with is Rashida, and by blown out, it's like, okay. So we had all the time in the world to play around this. So that's just like an experience thing. These are the sort of things where like you like to lose to this because then you figure it out and then it kind of sticks with you a bit better. But yeah, we had no reason. We had the luxury to be able to play around this. So like we definitely should have. I got on people with that before. I think you stole the SDS. I was happy enough there. I didn't draw the news, but I'm sitting on 3 yuck on Bladderwork, blanks, no one home. So you, oh yeah, that's sick. Hey, cheers. I didn't realize that. That's actually a really big deal. Is that Bladderword, if it fires blanks, no one home? Because it will be the first instance of net damage. So this is actually not the hot tech card we thought it was if there's a Bladderword on the table. Oh, that would also get me really, really good. Oh, that's super cool. I'll be running a spoilers legal side event. East Coast Nats is going to be a 2-day shindig, right? Oh, that's super cool. Okay, let's run it back. It's already 9:30. We'll do a fast one with this because like there's a lot of news to talk about, but like we didn't see this deck do the thing that the deck is meant to do. Which is like, you know, as stuff. Bladderword feels like its value is going to go up in new meta. That was fun. Thanks. Yo, Izzy, well played. That was really fun. That Bladderword thing, you would have got me really good. I don't think I realized that interaction. I was like so happy and so safe. How do you feel like if we don't die there, how do you close the game up from that point? Because like I don't think I put on enough pressure. It's not like I'm going to drop a Stargate and like close up on Central. So I still have to play your game for a bit. Yeah. So I don't know how you close it from there. I think it involves ice for sure. So John, I played CTM at the last event I went to. I just put together a deck casually because I knew I was going to go travel. So I don't think it was meant to be like a big deck to like win stuff, but I wanted to play CTM because somebody did win an event with it. And I actually took out the Bladderwords and instead I played Economic Warfare and I played more Gaslights. And I feel like in hindsight, I probably should have played Bladderword because the deck just doesn't have enough economy inherently. And I think the big thing with Bladderword is like people just misplay into it so poorly. Like Bladderword just tilts players. Like it's hard to sit there and get your stuff trashed, but like very often it is the right thing to do. Now, the cool thing about that Wayland deck is that it has the right cards in the deck to produce situations in which cards in hand actually really does matter. So like that last turn, there was really a bunch of cool forks, right? Like for us to lose to that, we had to like find the Formicary. We had to let the Formicary fire. So another line we had is like, don't let the Formicary fire, run R&D. And then if it's R&D, we have to hope that we don't top deck an agenda because then we won't have enough things. So on our last turn there, if we just bounced off of the Formicary and ran R&D, and then we had to hope that we didn't hit any of the 4 agendas that don't have an additional cost of steal, which we know they're all in there because I think Izzy would have shuffled back anything that they drew. So that's another line too if we wanted to play around it. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. Bladderword's a really weird one. I think people mess up into it more than it is good. I'm not a huge Bladderword fan. Anyway, it also can help the corpse stay low for the bladder themselves, making your life harder if you use it. Oh yeah, like they can trace into it. And maybe they'll just do it on the first hard hitting news anyways, so it doesn't give them like more ability to do it. But yeah, it's, I guess. Right, like, yeah, I guess. Yeah, you were doing a good job keeping down the assets at a good rate, to be honest. It was pretty slow draw for the deck, and more tuned towards beating Anarch than Bones Crim. Yeah. But there's still a lot of ways to make mistakes into it, and there's a lot more times I can push CWP on the table alongside other things. That's like the thing that I'm scared about. I got a PE deck. Oh, I'd rather not. I'd rather not. Thank you, though. That's very kind. I've not got that before. Is there anything else you don't want to play? I changed ace. Thanks. That's really cool. Okay, sports mental. So we have to go fast. Again, we don't have really strong multi-axes. Our multi-axis is attached to getting Awaken Plant down, running HQ. They're running 54 cards, so like not exactly sure what kind of sports metal this is. There's huge incentives in sports metal to not do that. Like most decks. Oh, well, we'll see how it goes. All right, best of luck. Have fun. Nasex into 1 cost them to dump the money into HHN. It's a lot of pressure fast. Yeah, Izzy, your border control play into Nasex, like, it's hard to keep track of that one on JNet, so I think it sneaks up on you a bit harder, but that was really cool. I thought I was, like, really in control. The Keeling CTM did better. I've heard of that. Hoomst is excited for Scoops. How's it going? When again, I always get that, like, it's beginning to feel a lot like Asa, but, like, for Scoop Smiths or whatever, that song that someone did, it always gets stuck in my head. All right, against Sports Metal, we need to go fast. We can get accesses. I don't know what kind of Sports Metal this is. We don't have a lot of strong multi-axes. We don't have strong disruption. Sports Metal is pretty strong into diversion of fun, so we just need to set up our core engine as quickly as possible. This hand has the network, the masterwork, which is like, you know, reasonable, but not much that I'm too excited about. All right, they opened after Mulligan with a Spin Doctor. Credit. That's a weird start. That's a really bad start if we had diversion. We don't, unfortunately. I think we can take a punt. It's a 3 and 40 for the diversion. If we install the masterwork, it's a credit, we draw a card. This is where I mean, like, we have so many one costers that like, oh, the fact that we're gonna install telework for 0, like, functionally doesn't work often because like it's just another job. You know, this card isn't bad, but I feel like often you have enough targets and as that you don't need to go out of your way to play this card. They seem like they have a bad start, so I don't want to run and give them like value. If anything, we would like run the Spin Doctor. I wonder if they're on Nightmare Archives and they're just like stacking archives. So if we run, we can install a hardware. I don't really care to do that. Getting down Nuka, we can do it next turn. So the thing is we need to draw anyways, so whatever. Order there was pretty bad. And before this, Nightmare Archives and News Team Sports. It could easily be. Let's see a 1-2. Yeah, they're going to derez that. Oh, I don't know what this is anymore. I don't know what this is. I'll install this for free. And we'll run it. Are we going to take core damage here? The Waken Plan actually is worth installing. It's an NGO front. In theory, we have a paid ability window here because they don't have any paid ability to fire here. So we're allowed to do this before they fire. We want to keep the class act. We'll take the damage first. Okay. So it's just an NGO front. That's super strange. So I think this might be like the list that we maybe played against the last stream we had, where the person we were playing against, she had like really big ice, which was kind of cool. All right. So, well, we have a huge incentive to run HQ. Let's get some money to trash stuff with. Oh, we're doing this last click. That's really bad. I guess. I don't know what this deck is. Stinkdoor, how's it going? How you doing? I'm doing good. Nuke is definitely Diesel in this list, and Crim needs Importance some draw. The thing is, like, this is really slow. This is the reason why you wanted to deal with a Spin Doctor, because they can derez it. But, like, they get enough card draw. This card allows them to Sports Metal. I think this card is so much slower than Diesel that I don't feel great about it. This is really cool, though, that we can get Red Team down and get some good value. So, what's our turn? We will Nuka. Okay. I don't honestly think dropping them down 13 credits is that important. Let's just get this down. We'll run HQ. We can run R&D. Accessing last click gives them a lot of ways to draw out. I do not know why they need as much money as they have in their deck. We haven't seen any ice yet. Seamless. Okay. So they're trying to score out. We can like go HQ again, which I think we should, as much as we can't use red team. But like, I don't think we're in a rush. Wave. Okay. So harmonics. Haven't seen influence yet. So they could be a 7-point combo deck. If we start seeing some of the weirder 1-pointers. Okay. That could be wave. Immediately, that could be any ice in the game. This is where, like, you see this, what happens with Waken Plan. Immediately, we're going to face check into... we're going to face check into Tithonium. It's going to cost us the game. Man, I can't believe Tithonium is a card. All right. Okay, that's bad. I don't know what to do anymore. I guess we're going to draw some cards. All right, that deuces we're playing. Sick. Okay. So we could consider running archives. If there's a Nightmare Archives, we'll just take the points. We can take 1 core damage, it's fine. I don't think we care about this hand particularly. Well, we don't want to lose the Unity. So if we take the core damage, it's a 1 and 8 on Unity. I think we'll roll those dice. Maybe it's a big deal deck? It could be, yeah. So it looks like there is agendas in here. Well, it looks like there were agendas in there. All right, so we need boomerangs. We haven't used our ability this turn. So, like, we can install a free Nuko. That's fine, I guess. We can also install a class act. I feel like that's a bit better. We're going to have to throw out some cards here. I think we actually can go down to relatively poor. We have to get rid of a card. Pinhole is, like, really good against the Giordano's. Bachlin's really good against Big Ice. Mutual Favor. Let's just hope that we don't need that. Tiny synergy, but it just occurred to me Aesop could save the last team from the Teleworks and the red team. Yeah, there's like this like interest to do Aesops with Az and like all the prognostic Q loop stuff like that. I don't know if it's necessary. Like generally you want to run because you're getting value from it anyways. But yeah, you can always sell this thing. Same with like telework, right? Oh yeah, you said it, telework and red teams. Yeah, excuse me. All right, so we use Chesva. We can install hardware during the run. I think we're just going to do it. So we're going to install this. We need some money. This will cost us 2, so we could do it in theory. Yeah, we can do it. So is it going to allow us to do it? I think it is. We'll run archives. So install this. So we'll use these credits. We lost another mutual favor. We'll do the Zenith. No, we haven't lost yet. We lost the Mistbones. That's fine. So we'll get the one that we can do. Breach server. Red team. Okay, 2 many cards. There's a 7-point combo standard right now. It's close to like the Arella type stuff. I don't think it's full 7 unless something ridiculous happens. But like Fast Break is a hell of a card. I think NBN does it better because they have a bit more like on tempo and 2-1s. All right, well, we just need to actually like break ice. So here we could check R&D if we wanted to. We have 8 cards in hand. And only 2 clicks. All right, well, I feel like we don't need the card draw anymore. So what are we throwing out here? What are we throwing out? So we can run R&D. We can boomerang whatever this is. We're assuming it's a wave. We can see 4 cards from R&D. We can still Iqua last click. They can, like, running last click is one of the worst times because they can draw, but I think they would draw safely anyways behind 3 ice. We don't want to be too aggressive because we're assuming they're on stock buyback to some extent. So you kind of want to slow your roll. What do we most likely want to play? I think the Bachland. Oh, we already installed the hardware. Yeah, that was a bit expensive. Okay, we have to throw it 3 cards. Oh my lord. Okay, well, she's done. We have another pinhole. The Giordano is not a real thing yet. And it's weird that I like red team more than Sure Gamble. But we have a red team. It only has 1 click left on it. To be fair, red playing couriers feels like cheating when it comes to 7-point combo. Economic warfare? Credit? Wait, what is happening? What is their deck? What? The economic warfare does. I do not know what they're doing. Okay. So we need to get some money. The easiest way is to run. I actually wish we had the red team there. I feel like the red team is way better than Sure Gamble. All right. Okay. Random cards. Is Doof never landing? Is it? It will at some point because we actually have reasonable breakers. It's just like with stock buyback is not particularly good, but they clearly care about credit differential. So like, yeah, I don't know. Kind of hard to say. Here we do like credit gamble. No, I'm just going to run R&D. Windmilling with Arella 6 stuff. Magnet. Okay. So we can eventually break that for 1 credit. So we can see a whole bunch of cards here. Let's see a bunch of cards here. Wave. Hansei. All right. Off-world. Okay. That was a reasonable trade. It looks like they want to put on a remote server. I just don't know how they're going to build a remote server when they 3-iced HQ. Punitive senses tingling? Yeah, maybe. It's hard to punitive us. We can always like, oh, with prognostic, it's hard. Sorry, it's actually relatively easy. But like, we haven't seen 3-pointers yet. I don't think you play sports metal if you're playing 3-pointers. HHN boom deck, I guess? Like, they clearly care about big money. That's probably the wave off the top. They did install credit so that it's very likely the card they drew was the wave. Let's just start here. Draw 2. Okay, we need the tremolo. We definitely don't need that. Okay, we have to watch out for, I think they're going to play some really mean ice. Like, I'm expecting a tier or some nonsense. We can always run archives clicklessly. We don't like the prognostic value, so it's actually not that good of a run. It's basically just a free draw and an axis. So we have a Bugalter somewhere. Like credit. What are we doing? Are we able to face check without a killer? This is where I like a prognostic, because prognostic gives us some flexibility where we can run archives and get good value because we can prognostic with Chesed. But again, the deck is slightly different. I think we just do credit. It seems really bad. We could do draw and then throw out our worst card. That's actually a really good card. That gives us a better reason to run archives. Hansei threw a card out. It's going to be a nightmare archives. That's fine. I think we should have taken that as core damage, but like, I don't know what this is, but we really need to get a big turtle because they have some big ice. So we're just going to get a turtle up. Hyperloop, okay. In theory, yeah, we should make them decide here before we take the core damage. I think with this hand, we can't take the core damage. If we lose the tremolo, we're in a pretty bad spot. We have 2 cybernetics down, so we'll just take the negative point. Yeah, if we install the tremolo, we'd feel a bit better about that. Okay, well, we're on 1 agenda point, so this is going to be a longer game. And I think we just do credit. No, we just do archives. They probably have stuff in HQ, but it's like, I don't know how they win if all they do is ice up central servers. Especially if they're running 4-2s. Like we saw Seamless in hand, right? Okay. That's okay. So how many... I think we have to get this on 5 before we face check, right? I think 5 is good enough. So this archives run is really good. We could install something, but if we run again, we're going to be able to install it. This is more money. I think we just run archives. If they purge, it's fine. They're not doing anything. And then we get that down for our value. We hit it, I guess. And we'll go from there. Is that the last one? No. You think it's an NGO front? In theory, we have a window here. It's an NGO front. Okay. That's fine. They have 27 credits. All NGOs are out. No spin doctors. 33 more cards. So, yeah. We know a Seamless in hand. Okay. We have reached max breakership. We have to watch out. Like, in theory, what's it called is like a reasonable card, I think. Distributed tracing into like retribution. That's kind of a problem sometimes. Okay. So here, we'll start by running archives, and then we'll run HQ. Can't break barriers, but barriers can't hurt you. Would we install a piece of hardware? I don't think we do. All right, it's a wave. They can pull something to hand. They added a bloop to hand. That's fine. We could have let that fire, actually. Yeah, we should have let that fire. Sorry. You can take the credit. Yeah, we have no reason to break that. The point, it seems like they kind of have to be on big deal. I think you might be right that they're on big deal. But, like, I don't know what the rest of their deck is. Yeah, they can definitely have this credit. Yeah, I don't want to break that. Sorry, I don't want to break. Biotic spam, maybe. But we saw like Seamless, right? Like there's other things we're seeing that don't make sense. I'll just undo the click, whatever. Perfect. All right, so just remember we have 1 more credit on the Chesla. We'll probably use it. Hey, Jake, there's so much money, surely big deal. Nothing else in the deck has made this sense. How you doing? Okay, this one we'll probably not consider breaking. They added a wave. At this point... Yeah, we'll break that one. So we'll break that one. I'll break that one instead. So I'll just give myself a credit and break it. Okay. So yeah, big deal's a really good hit because it's trashable. Stealing a 3-pointer is a big hit because you steal those. 2x big deal? Yeah, maybe. I don't know why they're excited to score the other Elva guy. It's a rhyme. I think this might be like mutually assured destruction. Like, they're playing economic warfare. The runner loses a credit. Okay, well, we break that for free. Like, I don't know what this is. Very funny. We lost the doof. That's fine. We didn't need that. All right, so one of these is a bloop. That was a really bad run. So we know a Seamless launch in hand. We know What else do they pull back? They pulled back 2 cards, right? A wave. And a bloop. So, okay, so we know all but 1 card in hand. So if anywhere think here, we can go R&D. We've used our Chesva. No, I don't think we have to do anything here. They have wave, bloop, discard down to 3 cards. Yeah, okay, that's true. That's on me. I just announced dates and tickets for Australian Nationals. It's up on Always Be Running, ready for anyone to sign up. Jake, remind me if I don't remember to plug it, but we'll do that right after that. That's super sick. Are you organizing it? Okay, so that's probably a wave. It's probably the bloop, I guess. At some point, they're going to purge out the I want to get... This is like the sort of Netrunner that always gets me. It's like, just triple ice up everything in Dirtle, and like, I don't know what their game plan is. And then obviously if we're on Amakua. But this is where like, you know, Wake Plan really falls apart. All right, so this costs us 1 credit to run HQ. So I think we're going to do that. Just the amount of clicking here is not worth it. Don't know if you mentioned this already, but NSG's saying they'll have Canadian distribution up and running in a few weeks. Wait, before the event, though? They can have infinite credits. I don't think I care. Bro, this game. Yeah, tell me about it. How's it going, Pickwin? Andre drew last click, never thought I'd see it. For the runner, you draw last click way more than the corp. For the runner, drawing last click often is actually pretty good, Frank. Because like you interact with unknown information, and in the last click, if you want to draw, you want to draw. For the corp, you almost never draw last click. That's the one that you can like make fun of me. Does Canadian distribution run out of Pat's garage? Pat will come to your door. I thought I was queuing up with a grindy matchup. I know. They came in though and said, do you want to play against PE? But this seems way more grindy. Seamless. Okay. So that's the one. There's 1 card in hand we don't know. So we'll just run R&D. We'll just try and lock the top of R&D. Pay 1 hardware. I don't think so. Once we find out what the ice is, because one of these is a bloop. Okay, it's an echo. That one actually does get annoying, but luckily Tremolo breaks it really well. They're going to purge next turn. That's actually not a problem because running HQ is fine. They can have infinite credits. Also, this does not keep out Amakua. At least we broke bloop very cheaply at the moment. Yeah, we do break it very cheaply. With another Chezzo, we actually... Okay. This will give them 4 credits. It costs us 1 to break. I don't think I mind giving them 4 credits. And if they do this, they get another ice out of their deck. So our multi-X is a bit better. I'd rather give money to NSG than NPC, but it depends on when it'd be available. Yeah, exactly. Like right now, our priority is just getting the cards before the event. And I would rather play NSG directly. It's so much faster than NPC. There's double bloop on archives. It kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Like, this is where I just want to concede because the game is going to take a very long time. It is just going to be a very long game. And I am not excited. How do we have 18 credits? Oh, because we bravadoed. Yeah, this is where I'm just, I want to not do this. Oh, Nanako just climbed underneath the covers. She got into the bed in a way that was very cute. I don't know why we installed this, but like we know that there's maybe 1 agenda in HQ, but otherwise if they don't draw, like we just click for 4 credits here. Well, no, we actually just run archives. What could be bad? Titanium could win. A preview of a world. Hey, fuck. They're just playing the long con, and a few turns are about to install triple FC3 on a remote. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think we might toss in the towel real soon here. It's just like, this is going to be a grind of a game. There's no way to slice it. Like, we can just run HQ. It costs us a credit. Like, it's just tedious also the amount of running, like the amount of clicking we have to do to make that happen. But yeah, we just run HQ. Welcome early to the stream. Weekly reminder, your treasure. Oh, VT, that's very kind. Thank you. How's your week? We could break this, or they could have more money. What ice did they pull to their hand? Did anyone pay attention? Echo. Okay, they have an Echo in hand. They raise their Echoes really late. We're lucky. God, APOC on this board would be so good. It would be really good. Running HQ charges RNDX is big value. Yeah, it's the best we have. Whoa, that's the one card in hand we didn't know? What do? They gained 2 credits because they don't want they don't want to draw. That was the one card they had. So the Biotic is like 2 cards down, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot the order of R&D because I tilted. But like we just continued to do this. It's just like, again, very tedious. Like the amount of clicking that has to happen here. Andre's apartment during a stream, 40 degrees Celsius. Yo, Pat, it's actually pretty good. I'm kind of cold here. Sorry. That can fire. Just gain all your money. You have all the money. It doesn't matter. I have a turtle. What's your influence? Cole, this is the deck list of the week. The only thing we did is we dropped the, what's it called? The buffer drive. Just undo click. I don't want to click this much. This is too much clicking. There's too much clicking here. And then we added a deuces, which is like, you know, whatever. Waiting for the snares. I know, that's why we have the no one home. And they have to trace us twice, which like, yeah, they can get away with it. Now you might be thinking we actually could have broken the rhyme and saved the credit because we have the Cheswa. Yeah, we should have done that. We'll do it. It was just less clicking on our part. Oh no, it's 1 strength. We literally cannot do it. Too much clicking, says the ass player, but that's cool clicking. They started clicking that builds board state. Like in person, you just be like, run HQ. I'll lose 1, you gain 8. It's so much faster. Did they fire it? I don't think they fired it. I don't think it matters though. Maybe it's 3x big deal. I think it is, but like, how are they going to break R&D lock? Oh, they resolved that we lose 1. No, we don't. Seamless. Okay. So like, yeah. Yeah, they do have a really good square. That's true. We can grip draft this. Bubble, how's it going? I think I would probably take this middle lane. This middle lane's pretty good. I do think there's a bloop here. Okay, so the top of R&D is unknown. This deck also should have a Dawkins pass. I know I said that like maybe too many eggs in the running HQ basket. That's the egg. It's happening. All right, so they have a Biotic in hand, so we just have to lock R&D. So none of this costs us good money to break, so we'll run it. Actually, no, we have to respect. We will respect. We died a snare here, technically. We should draw. Oh, no, we get a free draw. It's a rhyme. Of course it's a rhyme. I'm a Dawkins Pass hater. I like Dawkins Pass. I think legwork is underplayed in the meta, but I think that's a thing where, I don't know. Hey, Frisbee, how's it going? Are you at Comic-Con? What's cheaper to break this with? This, right? Yeah. Eventually we break for free. If we install a next Cybernex, which like I don't think we are. Hey, what did I open your stream into? Cold Lob, how's it going? This is a 54 card sports metal deck, and like we're having a hard time reading what their deck does. We are letting every wave fire though, and it's been feeling pretty good. Legwork wins games. Yeah, I think Legwork is like a very, very good. Oh, this one I actually had to break for 2. Now they can break R&D lock here and draw. Oh, that's a really good card. So Pulse, we got to remember the order. Economic Warfare, that's fine. Pulse, Off-World, okay, we can win. Now if they draw, they don't break lock. Okay, so they drew Pulse into an Economic Warfare. We're going to get so much value from this Bachlan. All right, well, I guess we run HQ. Or MU is full. Yeah. That's true. This is actually, if they don't res another one, the Echo is fine because this breaks 3 subroutines, right? Oh no, 2 barrier subroutines. Damn it. So we're just doing this to charge up our Wake implant. Like they can just hit this infinite button and we can save some. Just like hit that money button up into whatever number that you're really happy with. Breaking the ice square. I know this is messed up, but I do think they might put a fourth one on archives. Game 5, it's fine. The runner cannot be allowed to see the face down cards that are in archives right now. Wait, what do you mean? Oh, like this? They were doing that to deal with the Amakua, which like, I don't think they realized that we're just gonna let their ice fire. This is actually like a really important thing when it comes to learning Netrunner. You can let ice fire. It's totally fine. Most of the time. TM. With rotation, maybe finer than it's ever been. Hansei review. Okay. So this cost us 2 credits. Should we click for a credit? No. They're so going to do like some sick combo that we're not expecting we're going to lose. You can let your opponent get... Yeah, money doesn't matter. But Red told me the subroutines never fire. Subroutines never fire. They're only net damage. All subroutines just say net damage. Admittedly, do subroutines never fire. Man, it's really fun to get spoilers and like have to talk about ice. And then like, you know, you're pessimistic about it because you're like, subroutines don't fire. We have cool spoilers. We do have cool spoilers. I'd love to see a sick combo. Yeah, I don't know what their sick combo is. Like Economic Warfare, that's like a really hateful card. Are they going to hard hitting use us? They could do it. They have 65 credits. We have 12 and a link. Are they purged? But why? But tell me why. Why do you purge? Does purging change anything? It changes nothing. We're back at the hotel prepping for tomorrow. Martha Wells and Pierce Brown are doing book signings, so we're trying to map out our day. So far, it's been good. The food here is great. Oh, that's really good to hear. That's exciting. I know, like, the online news is reporting about, you know, like, Comic-Con stuff. I'm glad you all are there. This is a sports game with 6 cards in the score area. We're working on it. Slow and steady. The strike's ongoing. It's a bit light on panels. Oh, that's true. Are people not allowed to like show up? It's only like written word authors that are like doing signings and stuff. NP Sports, no plan yet. They definitely have a plan. Their plan is to lock us out and Biotic out. The problem is, like, I don't know what they do against a Stargate, right? Can you overwrite Turtle for another Chesva? I think we want our Turtle because there's a bloop on archives and we have to break 2 bloops on archives at some point. I think we can just click for credits and I'd rather have the security of the Turtle. But yeah, we probably could get away with it. Get away with it. Yeah, whatever. Oh, that's sick. That's really good. All right, let's go. They can't promote anything movie or TV related pretty much. Yeah, right on. Okay, this one doesn't matter. Their plan is to have their opponent die of old age. They can't get a 7th agenda. Well, they have a Biotic in hand. They just want a top deck, and they're like off to the races. They draw a big deal. They can win. They just are like, we have to lock the deck very feverishly every turn. How's it going, by the way, Draco? Solidary for SAG after and WGA? Yeah, for sure, for sure. This is where installing the Panweave is interesting, not because of the credit denial, because it is an econ card for us, and because it makes us cheaper. So it's doubly an econ card, so... yeah. This is why we need a disable strict run rules run button. I would appreciate it if there was like a, you know, YOLO, no rules enforced run button, and you just have this like little piece you move around. Did I miss a news section? No. This game has been going on for a minute. We're going to do it right after this. I thought this would be faster because it was sports metal. It's been a bit different though, as you might see. Oh, I have to break this one. Nice. We can't get more negative points. We found all of them. Oh, thank you. We're out. Good game. Yeah, they were just going to Biotic that off the top though. So like they had a game plan. The problem is like a lot of fast events decks, some fast events decks too. Like their game plan is just ice up and then hope you top deck and Biotic. These sort of decks, like playing as them, I get so antsy where it's just like waiting room for an agenda and then like you allow the runner to do something like this. And it's really neat too here because as much as Glaciering up, this is really bad ice to Glacier up with, right? Like we were really lucky the Echoes weren't rezzed first. right? Like imagine Echo's res first. This thing would have like 7 counters on it. Like still Tremolo deals with it relatively well, but that would have been bad. But like, just let the waves fire. You can Bachlan a bloop though. I don't think I want to because it makes the Echoes worse. Yeah, Fastman's waiting room is like a very, very real thing. So watch out. Hey Scrub, how's it going? Hey Fenris, hey there Andre, hope the game's been good and you've been even better. Thank you. I've been really good. I get like, I don't know, obviously we're gonna talk about the news right now, but like taking a week off is in some ways a bummer because there's a lot of news to talk about, but I enjoy Thursday nights so thoroughly. We will be streaming, mind you, if the set's out on JNet the following weekend. So that as well. Actually, we might not be. It depends because there's going to be a Nationals. I don't want to stream at the same time Nationals is. Oh, that's really awkward. Maybe we'll do it on a Monday or something. All right, let's talk some news. How's everyone doing? Let me get some water real quick. Was Fast Break ever seen? No, we saw no cards besides a single biotic that, like, they had a CMOS. They wanted to score on a remote server, but I think they also had 54 cards. So there was, maybe it wasn't the most like precise game plan. Check this out. Mark your calendars for the Automata Initiative. This one took me a while. Liberation is the name of the cycle. Automata Initiative is the name of the set. The Automata Initiative will launch on July 31st, 2023. That's basically next week. That's really, really fast. Mind you, this was announced like 14th. I think everyone was super antsy going into this because the release date of this set was so important because right now, as you might know, US East Coast Nationals is at the end of the month. It's 2 days before this. We have a Nationals here, Cascadia, Continentals. There's so many events. And classically what Null Signal was saying is that once the set is released, it will not be tournament legal, nor there will be the rotation associated with it, be tournament legal until 2 weeks after the release date. We'll catch up on that because that's actually going to be a bit different than it was before. They're actually accelerating that because there's a lot of pressure to get the new events into a new meta. So we'll get to that in the next news article, but that's very soon. So we're going to get new cards really quickly and they're going to be tournament legal even faster than that. Most importantly, the reveals will start in about 12 hours, Friday, July 21st. That's tomorrow. And then community season will start on the 24th. Remind me about my stuff. We're going to have, again, if you're watching on YouTube, you're watching on Twitch, go to the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button. Thanks. Hit the like button. Thank you. And hit the notification button. So you'll get notified. You'll get a push notification when our spoilers go live because we have a spoilers video that'll be coming out next week. I don't think I'm allowed to say the day, but early next week. Generally, I post my stuff at around 11:15 in the morning. That's what I tried to do in 2 Fridays. Wait, what? Yeah, it's tomorrow. Cool. The set's in 2 Fridays? No, East Nationals is in Friday. This starts tomorrow. Okay. Let's get that. Lore post today was really good. I haven't read it yet. Aaron posted a thing. I saw Aaron last week and I was like, hey, you've been writing a thing? And she was like, yeah. I'm like, I'm excited, but I haven't read it yet. We see some nice cards here. Again, the whole set takes place in Brazil, and it's talking about the this sort of issues that are rising about the emancipation of biroids and clones. And I think the narrative focuses on removing those rights and taking those rights away. So we're seeing a lot of interesting cards. Again, South America has actually been a really big part of Netrunner. Where the Beanstalk is classically was in South America. So it's really cool to see more of that. Netrunner jumping around the world is really, really cool. And we see our first 6 cards from the Automata Initiative. You can actually guess what some of these cards do. Some of them you see. Let's talk about them really quickly. We have a 5-3 agenda. I don't like 5-3 agendas. I'm a bit annoyed to see this, but I have no doubt whatever here is going to be pretty mean. It says whenever you score an agenda, and it seems like it says in brackets, including this agenda, something bad is going to happen. And you see that somebody's testing weapons. So like that's firstly not atypical for HB, who has had some sort of automated weapon systems, but that's probably going to be a really bad thing. Pivot. I think this is Manuel Herrera's art, if I'm not mistaken. Manuel Herrera is actually one of my favorite Netrunner artists, going all the way back to the 2012 core set. I'm pretty sure that's Herrera. And Pivot looked really cool. This actually looks very interesting. Looks kind of close to a card we've seen before. As an additional cost to play this operation, spend a click. It's a double, and it says search R&D for an operation or something and reveal it. So just the ability to search your card for a deck. We had a card like this back in the day called Consulting Visit that allowed you to search your deck for a card as a double and play it, but that card has rotated. This was actually a very, very important card for Wayland for a long time because it just blew open combo potentials that for like 3 clicks you could always play Boom from your hand, for instance. Boom rotates, but that's a really big deal. So we'll see how this card compares to that, because currently it just seems worse than that, but that's very interesting. Love the art. Also Monkey. Capybara. Art is fantastic. Capybaras are really cool. It's a unique hardware with the name of an animal. Whether it's going to be a hungry thing like the hippo, we'll see. But that is so cool to see a digital capybara. That is like very, very good drawing of it. And we have Airblade. JSRF edition. When you install this hardware, load 3 power counters on it. When it's empty, trash it. And there's 2 interrupts. Hosted power counter to prevent I think that's a 1. It says prevent I would assume it's 1 net damage. Uses ability only during a run, I'd assume. Hosted power counter prevent when encounter ability on a piece of ice. This is awesome. These are the sort of cards I'm really excited to see. Prevent specifically in like you figuring out when to prevent damage only during a run. That's kind of niche. That's not as valuable as you might want it to be. But this sort of ability on the bottom, I'm actually really excited for the design. While inherently this is technically a charge target, that's kind of cool. And it's actually a relevant charge target in some ways. The when encounter ability in ice have been more interesting since Null Signal has been making, ice for the last couple of years now. Ice has largely been more interesting than just strength and subroutines. So you're seeing a lot of more when encountered, on encounter, when res, stuff like that. So having a way to deal with it is kind of a big deal. Hunting Grounds is the way right now, besides Hush in the standard format, that you can deal with when encountered ice, but Hunting Grounds rotates alongside all the other Apex cards that are in this set. So having another way to deal with it, and also having a way to deal with it that has limited use, is really exciting as a corporation. When your opponent plays Hunting Grounds, that's going to be there for the whole game unless you can trash it, and that just kind of messes your stuff up. Like, you just know, oh, once per turn, one of my ice is going to be pretty bad. And I like the design on this. It's kind of like Film Critic. Film Critic was a really powerful card back in the day that just turned off interesting agendas, and having Film Critic be something similar to this that has a certain amount of charges, so you understood it was a thing that you actually can tax the runner out. You can make them misplay into it and use it a bit sooner and like jam stuff in remote server so they feel like they have to use it. I think that's a very interesting design on this, where it's a powerful ability but it has a limited use case unless they're charging it. So I'm kind of into that. My face win 5/3, deal 100 core damage. I feel like the Wheels is going to be a staple for Tag Me deck. This card is really neat. This is actually really interesting. Hannah Wheels Palintra. I don't know how to pronounce it. So excited for the pronunciation guides. They said specifically in the set, we're going to see a lot of unique connections. Those are generally very flavorful cards because I think characters are something people can associate to, let alone Paolo's Cafe. But this unique connection costs only 2 influence, 2 credits, and it says click, gain a click. Already pretty goofy. Run a remote server, win that run ends. If it was unsuccessful, take a tag, uses ability only once per turn. So it's a button to clicklessly check remote servers if they're uniced. And mind you, it says when that run ends, if it was unsuccessful, and if the server disappears. So if you run something like a Spin Doctor or an NGO Front or I don't know, Moon Pool, and it disappears, the run's actually not considered unsuccessful, but you basically get a click back once a turn. Yeah, only once per turn to just check stuff, which is nice. It's like a nice release valve for meta if you're just checking uniced remote servers. That's a really cool card. But then click, trash this, and gain 2 clicks, so you actually gain a click to remove a tag. Now, interestingly enough, you can fire that if you don't have a tag. You can just fire this to gain an extra click on a turn, and that's kind of neat. So I think the modes for this card, the tag prevention is really nice. Getting tags off of this, you're playing Tag Me, is technically interesting. You can clicklessly gain tags by just smashing into ice or smashing into remote server and jacking out. That counts as an unsuccessful run. I think that's a very flexible card. It's like a very, very reasonable card. To see who can make the best use of it, that's going to be the most interesting thing. But like, it's a very modal card, and everything it does is like very fine. I think it's quite nice. It's so nice to be past the AI art phase. The art is really good, and the art on the cards I have for spoilers, I've been a huge fan of. Forgetting Gaslight? Yeah, Gaslight too. Gaslight's the closest to it. Love how intentional NSG is going on international with its flavor. The old worlds of Android book have laughably thin descriptions of anywhere that's not Sansan. That's true. Are you going to talk about your spoiler cards on your next stream, or is it going to be a separate video? There'll be a separate video, Spark, and then we'll have a stream on Thursday at the regular time to talk about like general spoilers. Pat will be around and we'll just like hanging out, doing that sort of stuff. But there'll be a dedicated like spoiler video where there'll be like a beginning part where we show the cards and then we'll be talking about them for like 40 minutes, whatever. One thing I can say about my cards, I think I'm allowed to say this. We get a new mechanic, like straight up a new mechanic. And I'm like really stoked for it because it is quite cool. So some really nice stuff. It's infinite prevention if you're Padma. On Airblade, yeah. But the cost of charging this as opposed to charging your other cards is a real cost. It's also very funny to have the Captain Padma as Bister, and then her ship is her wheel, her Heelys. Only 2 influence. Deep Dive gets interested, especially after losing Beth. On Hana? Yeah, you can click this to get extra clicks for things like Deep Dive. That's actually really, really cool. Or any sort of wild, like imagine playing as an asset to get like a wild turn off. I guess you have Running Hot. You don't really need it. Yeah. You can just use it for a click, yeah. I wonder if there'll be something you can tag yourself with at the start of turn. Could be an interesting combo enabler. The thing is, like, you don't need to be tagged to use this. because the cost you pay and you gain 2 clicks, so that does change board state. You don't need to remove the tag. So you don't actually need to have a tag to use that. It eventually replaces the click you lost to plate. Exactly. It replaces the click. It offshores the click. You do pay 2 credits, but you offshore the click. And it's also relatively low enough influence, which is a really big deal for Paul's Cafe. Just need a slipstream back to Essential for wheels. Cody, how's it going? Hype. Yo, it's really nice to see you on the weekend. Hopefully you're doing well. I saw your message too. Excuse me, I have to respond to that one. I opened up your deck list real quick. It was a long read, so I haven't gone through it quite yet. Hannah's remote only. Yeah, Alex, Hannah's remote only, but you can do that bottom ability just to gain an extra click on your turn. So if you want to deep dive with 2 clicks left, you can do it. This is in Checky Ice have 3 or 4 subs. River, how's it going? This is really interesting. So we don't know much about this besides the subroutines seem to be what's it called? In parallel or the same, symmetrical. And they seem to say do 1 net damage unless the, I would assume runner pays 2 credits. It could be the corp pays 2 credits, which would be nonsense. No, that wouldn't make any sense. So this card seems to be like a 5 strength, like relatively high strength, seems to be a code gate, probably AP, seems to be like the replacement for DNA tracker that's rotating out. This is actually like a really big thing going forward, is that we're going to see the de-escalation of the power of ice. The depowering of ice inherently over Netrunner, this is a really big rotation for that. We're losing some of the highest, some of the most powerful, I would say undercosted maybe, but higher strength ice in the entire format. Things like Fairchild 3, DNA tracker, Mouseless, all this stuff rotates. So we're going to see, instead of a card like this that says do both, you're going to see a card that says do 1. So then the question is like, is that balanced if you just like change the cost, if you change the subroutines? Also, if you see, like, if you think this is going to have 3 subroutines, I think they're actually too low on the text. So there actually probably is text before it. So whether it's on res, on encounter, when encountering, there might be some text before that, or there might be 4 subroutines. Because I think if this is just 3 subroutines, that actually does not fit the card alignment. Setting for Buzzsaw Turbine to potentially break it for 2. Yeah. I think understanding what breakers are going to look like going forward is a huge, interesting problem to see. Like, are you excited to run a 5 strength code gate? Who knows? The second line is Bionic Labor by itself. You don't have to use the first line. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. For this one, you just have to use it. Airblades work on water too, I guess. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. It says Ford Wayland on that. I don't know what that's about. By the pictures I have seen, the ice has 27 subs. Oh man, ice with a customization sheet you can spend XP on. Yeah, and you have to keep that right on your sleeves, and then eventually you can only spend up to 10 XP on it though before. Yeah. Toll Booth will stick around, right? Yeah, Toll Booth will be around. But Toll Booth, like, it's still pretty good. You don't see a lot of Toll Booth in Standard. You see a lot more Toll Booth in Startup. And that's all we see here. Really cool stuff. Art is stellar. The cards are very interesting. Like, this card on its own is a very interesting card, and I'm really excited about that. This is also a much more interesting design as opposed to the things that it's replacing, which I really like. And the depowering of ice I'm in on as well. It's actually for a Wayland. It's not English. Oh, you're right. That's an A. That's a lowercase. That's sort of A. What does fora mean in Brazilian Portuguese? I would assume it is. This symbol too is interesting. It's not an ankh. I don't know what actually that symbol means. I don't know what else you can read on this wall. Lightning bolt, but you put lightning bolt everywhere. Could be 3 subs if they're not all the same. What if you need to play a side game with the first sub? Yeah, exactly. But I think that's a really big point, is if there are the 3 same subs, like if it does like just straight up mimic DNA tracker, it might be a bit different up there. Who knows? That's Mercury. Oh, like the astrological sign. Right. The gender sign is the bottom with the, yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Is it Mars? Mars is that one. That's also used for gender. Mercury. Yeah, that's the Mercury symbol. Super cool. No idea what that is. Mercury, Quicksilver. That's Quicksilver. Yeah, it's Quicksilver. Cool. Awesome. That's this article again. Things will be starting really soon. We'll have spoilers up. Again, we have a couple cards to spoil. They'll be on the channel soon. We have a new mechanic. Pretty stoked to talk about that, but we'll have a video up. This spoiler season, so like Null Signal is really good at getting like some runtime to be like, hey, here are your cards. So you have a couple weeks to work on content, do whatever you want. Unfortunately, I got my spoilers when I was on vacation, so I had a little bit less time to work on it than I normally do. So we'll see how it turns out, but I'm excited. At least you'll see the cards, right? The parent of a teenager is an emotional garbage collector. Yo, is that one of these? Yeah, these are auto-generated from Pocket. It's just something Firefox does. So, Legality at 2023 Continental Champions. The Automata Initiative will be legal for all 2023 Continental Championships. This is a really big discussion that was happening before. Once we had the announcement day, people were wondering whether Continental Championships, which start as soon as I think the 2nd is APAC, I think it's August 2nd, whether these cards are going to be legal, because again, there has to be a waiting time going forward. But apparently they're all just going to be entirely legal, which is pretty wild. So again, playtester bias is real or whatever. That's really exciting. So again, APAC Continentals and Euro Africa Continentals will be streamed, as in there'll be JNet games. You can get involved. Again, all the stuff is up on nullsignal.website.games. If you have been watching or playing in the Continentals for the last couple of years, they're phenomenal. They're open to everyone. You don't have to be in that continent to play in that continent. You can just sign up, and it's a full day of Netrunner. There'll be a stream on the Null Signal Games website, Twitch channel, excuse me, if I'm not mistaken, and it'll be up on YouTube eventually. America Continentals is very specifically different because it is being held as this Cascadia event, which also will be live streamed, but that one's physically in person in Seattle halfway through August. So 2 of them are accessible to everyone really easily. The other one I'd recommend going out to Cascadia. It sounds amazing. But yeah, I'm stoked that we will have entirely new meta with rotation, maybe a ban list update, but also the new cards coming out. So seeing as soon as like you want to get some ideas of what to play with the new decks, I think this is also going to be a very radical thing where like I think the decks that you're going to see on the 2nd of August compared to the 15th, compared to whenever Euro Africa's is, which I don't know off the top of my head, they're going to be wildly different while people explore and understand the meta. So that's really, really cool. I think it would have just been a case of nobody showing up to APAC if we didn't get the policy change. Yeah, that was like the thing that I heard before, saying like if not all Continentals can get it, then no Continentals will get it, because then it's not fair for APAC. On that note, like, why does APAC always go first? Isn't that also like an interesting, weird thing? But like for the last many years, APAC has always been like the sort of guinea pig Continentals that largely, like, maybe it doesn't have the biggest player count, so it kind of gets like, I don't know, but it feels like it's always the first one, and then like the meta gets more solved as things go. So APAC has always been kind of, to me, like the wild cards Continental to some extent. But yeah, it always goes first. So do they get the short end of the stick if they're not before rotation or after rotation? It's weird. Yeah, 5 days of prep. Not even. It's like 3 days of prep, isn't it? Maybe I have the date wrong. I don't get how competitive integrity was a reason when APAC keeps going first. Yeah, Kyle, we were talking about that. Like, it's weird when competitive integrity if APAC always just goes first, because I feel like for APAC players, going later in the season is actually a benefit to some extent, arguably, if you want to look at the meta and then be like, oh, this is what the folks in Euro Africas are doing, I can play that deck. Like, it's strange. It's really strange. There's a mention on the ANZ server that APAC shouldn't be first next year. Yeah, I feel like that should just be scrambled up. We're definitely the smallest of the Continentals, sure, but like I don't think that's a reason to be punished for it. If you consider that punishment, which I don't think you should, I just think it's strange that they always go first. It depends if you're a deck builder or not. Yeah, that's a big thing. Yo, this is cool. Null Signal Games, this was today. They put out a new podcast. So there's a bunch of folks together from Null Signals that are putting on a podcast. On this one, it was Ed, Ginevra, and this is Sanjay, yeah, put this together. I listened to this afternoon. They have Dan B on. There's a bunch of sections. There's a section that Cephalopod is on where they talk about rule stuff. Dan B talks about the stuff that he does, the work he does, and it's interesting. They basically said that they want to have a way that they communicate regularly, whether there's criticism that Null Signal Game doesn't communicate soon enough or consistently enough. So the idea is that if this is just in your feed and you subscribe to this on whatever you subscribe to podcasts, this will just be sent to you regularly as a way to, like, you know, to stay up to date to what Null Signal is doing. I'm really excited for this. The first episode is it's a good listen, and it's always nice to hear what's going on behind the scenes. It's something I'm always very fascinated about. So if you want to hear more, check that out. It's good. And I don't know what the regular cadence that they've agreed to. I think that's really important to some extent, that the cadence is somewhat regular. Yeah, but I think that's sick. That's really, really cool. So you can check that out. It's everywhere podcasts largely are. Love to get bullied by the whole world for Shock Factor 2. Jennifer, how's it going? This is up. I've heard really good stuff about this so far in the chat. I haven't read this yet, but this is the first narrative piece to talk about the new set that has come up. This is written by Aaron Shoeflower. I'm a big fan of Aaron's writing. I just haven't read this yet. So we'll check back on that next week. Hope we get to hear you on there too. I'm on too much stuff. They do not need me on every podcast. I appreciate it, Frank. All right. We're going to go over some results stuff really quick. Is the camera framey? I feel like the stream is slightly framey. Maybe it's fine. So this weekend, there's a bunch of events going on. There's more events coming up. One thing I need to shout out is this last weekend, I was in Ontario visiting family, and I dropped by Z-Bank's Suburban Wasteland Tournament. This is something that I was just absolutely astounded with. This is one of the coolest tournaments I ever went to. Z-Bag is a really nice person, and he lives in Mississauga, which is a suburb of Toronto. And he invited, this is the second year doing this. He just invited about like 20 Netrunner players to come down to his pad, like it's a house in the middle of suburbia, and just had a Netrunner event. And there was a huge turnout here. There was like 19 players. There was food. Everyone, it was nice to see folks. There was beer on tap. We were meant to be able to play in the backyard. There's like a pool too, but we got rained out, so everyone was inside. I want to show some photos really quick, but it was like absolutely adorable. Like it was just such a nice thing to do. And I think a big thing too, as well, is I have not been to an in-person event in Toronto in such a long time. And some of these people, like some of the Toronto folks, like I have known for like almost 10 years now, coming down to events and seeing stuff like that. So these photos come from Z-Bag. So that's Z-Bag. But just to show you what this looks like, because it was like very, very interesting to have so many people packed into a space and everyone was like so friendly. There's a stream. I think I need to get the link because I don't know if the VOD was there, but it was just such a great event. And it's just so nice to see all the people. But yeah, it was just such an interesting event to have everyone packed into the spot. There was tables down in the basement. This is the main floor. That's me. There was a bunch of tables set out here. We were meant to be outside on the patio. There's a lot of food and drink. And then, yeah, in the basement, Josh here was doing trivia between rounds, which was fantastic to do some fun Netrunner trivia stuff. And then there was a side table on the side to host more people. I think I also played, I played a game against Terrence here next to the stream, just sitting on the floor on a coffee table. And it was just like a really fun kind of, I wouldn't say chaotic energy because it wasn't, but that sort of like homegrown kind of tournament was really, really cool. And so cool to see all the nice folks from the Ontario area. Great time. Looks like it's going to be happening maybe next year. This is not the first time. It's the first time I've been down, and I'm really hoping that next year maybe some folks from Montreal want to come down as well. We forgot to enable Twitch saving VODs. Oh no. Oh man, I had a really good game on stream against Josh, and I barely lost. I was playing a 103 card what's it called? Hoshiko deck. I just brought the deck that I brought for my last CO because I was traveling. Whatever I had, I brought. And it was a really, really cool, close, tense game where he was on like 5 points and he finally hits me with a hard-hitting news. Then I have to figure out how to like get in and get enough accesses, whether I need to play around Boom or whether I have to play around the last copies of regulatory capture. And he gets at the end. And I was in a really bad spot because if I stole the regulatory capture from HQ, he top decked one anyways. So I think I was in a bad spot regardless, but it was a really close game. And it was a really exciting game, more accurately. Let's make it bigger next year. There's Z-Bag in chat. Yes, absolutely huge shout out for organizing this and allowing everyone to be like, come into your space, but absolutely fantastic time. I wasn't able to stay for the top cut, but the King Brandon made it. Oh, that's actually a shout out. I think on the Null Signal Games podcast, they misquote who won each Canadian event this weekend. Brandon did not win Canadian Nationals. He won this event. And then Abraham, I'm pretty sure, won the Canadian Nationals. So yeah, it was super, super cool. No record of Aaron's fourth botulus in the real loss is the real loss. Yeah, Aaron had 4 botuluses in her deck because someone had the exact same sleeves and she only realized during her last game loss, which sucks. Grassroots events are cool. It's really, really, really cool. Mississauga is absolutely suburb at heart. Colin, Mississauga is such a suburb. And I've never been to that part of Mississauga, which is like really suburban, but it was really nice. Yeah, I saw the end of the game. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Mississauga have an issue with being called a suburb. I thought it liked being its own thing. No, Mississauga is a suburb. It's part of the GTA, I think, which is the greater Toronto area, but the GTA is like mythical in its expanse. Like I grew up in a city that's like 45 minutes away and some people still consider it GTA. It's not legally the GTA, but yeah. Yeah, a lot of Hoshiko here too. A lot of Hoshiko. I had a great time. I played CTM. I would have played differently. I played Big Hoshiko. Good. I think Hoshiko eventually won the event. Otherwise, we went through this AMT, Can Nats, really great stuff. Speaking of great stuff, our event. This is our nationals. That is going to be at the end of August 26th and 27th. Tickets have been up for a while. Link will be in the description. Again, I'd highly recommend grabbing a ticket because we have limited space. We need to figure out how much space has to be allocated, stuff like that. We've already sold a fair few tickets. So if you want to grab one of these, grab it sooner than later if you can. We'll be talking more about this event. We have like a exclusive promo for the event that I'm excited to see. I just got the prize support in, so I do have like the trophy and stuff like that you can come take off of us. But I'm so excited because again, we have now confirmation this will be one of the major events this upcoming month in the new meta. And it'll be at the end of the month too, after all these other large events. So maybe the meta's settled enough. Maybe you'll know what you want to play if you're not a deck builder, which I think is fantastic. Least Hoshikos of the events that weekend. Yeah, that's true. It was the least Hoshikos. I got turn 1 at playing against Josh and I installed 3 cards on the table as CTM. 2 of them were AR enhanced securities. 1 of them was a Rashida and he just like, okay, run HQ. Ponders, runs R&D, steals a Beal, and I'm like, oh no, runs Archives Apocalypse. And we went to time. We tied on time. It was a wild game. But yeah, APOC turn 1. It was actually a really good play because I didn't have the punishment in hand. Hey, Shane, too many Asmari, though. Maybe. I don't think I played against any of them. But yeah, Asmari at the top. You were one of them, though. Congrats on making the finals as well. I got to meet Shane. We've met before. I felt really bad. I'm pretty sure we've definitely met before because you've been playing Netrunner for a long time. But yeah, it was really nice. It was really funny too. I drove up with Shane and we're talking, and it turns out he was one of the people that did like a bunch of stuff for Skytear. So like I've been hearing his voice doing commentary for a while now. Yeah, at Worlds and stuff. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, cool. Do you know what this won against me really well last on the event? And it was a deck list last week that I really wanted to play because I think it was a deck list that, like, I don't know, didn't look like it added stuff, but it's something I want to try, which is that what's it called? That kit deck. This deck. I played against this. I played against Zach, really fun player to play against. I believe it was Zach, right? And who was playing this deck. He just net decked it card for card, made the top 4 of the event on the weekend. And I was playing CTM and I felt very confident about my matchup. Unfortunately, my CTM deck, he had the networking, I think, very soon on, and that was a problem. I scored an AR enhanced security. And shoutouts to him, he trashed the right stuff. He totally understood what he had to trash. He trashed the Daily Business Show, I think he needed to. He definitely trashed the Money Sanai he needed to. And from that point on, I did not have the money or the pressure to put stuff on the table soon enough. And that's what this deck can do. This deck is really weird. It doesn't look like really much like anything. And all it does is gets enough economy. It has this sort of Onicom package that I actually really like in Shaper. It has prepaid voice pad. Just good enough. You use this to charge the twinning. And then every 2 or 3 turns, it runs R&D and sees 4 or 5 cards. And that's all it does. It's like incredibly, I would say, one-dimensional, like very straightforward plan. But the idea with Kit, the first ice is a code gate. And it remains code gate for the whole run. So if you have something like an inversificator, you can move that ice down. So you can get through 2 pieces of ice, no problem. On top of that, you also have Ngolo, which can make any ice a code gate in a pinch if you need to. And then you can just sit back. You can play all your econ cards, play 1 event a turn, and then just smash. That's it. Really weird deck. Trickster Taka, I don't know about this. This deck looks like it has no play against assets. I think it's probably really bad into the sort of like op deck we played earlier today. I'd argue that's probably really bad into that. I don't understand what it does against assets. But the idea here is we're only running 4 icebreakers. We're not even running Misdirection because, of course, we're playing Spark of Inspiration. So we just want to try and hit an Inversificator as soon as possible for 3 credits. That means to clear tags, all we have is networking. This card's actually reasonable. It's very reasonable. It doesn't fire Onicom unless you actually trash it, which you generally don't do. But that's all you do. Sit back, get money, throw. This is actually be really good into the sports medal we played because that's all you want to do. Sit back, do nothing, play an event every turn to charge the twinning, and then just run R&D C5. And you do that really cheaply time over time. Should definitely post the only criminal in the field. A Canet? I should post my deck from the weekend. They were me, but performed decently. Yeah, what were you playing, Solomir? You didn't play Thule, did you? Andre, can you possibly shill Australian Nats? Yes, thank you. Australian Nats. Jinglis is running this. Let's see if we can find it. So we go to upcoming. Australian flag is not here. We'll do all. So Australian Nats has just been put up here. I'll just search Australia. Yeah. Netrunner National Champions Australia West. This is the one, right? In Morley, which is on the 26th. So exact same day as Canadian Nationals. So that will be a brand new meta. Yeah, this should be it. So this is on the 26th. If you want to find more information, this will be down in the write-up. But if you're in that area, this is West Australia. Australia is bigger than I think most people think it is. But that's super cool. There's at least a couple of us looking at coming over from Melb. Oh, super cool. Awesome. Apoc Steve and borehole outfit. Yo, Apoc Steve. That's cool. All right, I just want to try this out, I think. I don't know if we need to make any changes. There's probably a lot of really bad matchups, but like if the corp is like relatively honest, this seems reasonable. And that was the problem with CTM. I felt like we would just push a remote server and go and then punish with hard-hitting news. But like the hard-hitting news punishment with networking is just more so like time than it is economy. So it didn't feel great. This is sort of matchup where like I actually think Bladderwort is interesting as much as the Bladderwort fires their Onicom. So kind of bad, kind of not great. What is this called? Undefeated at London? Okay. Riel. Why don't you talk about what the people want to hear? Aaron, is this about your story? Or is this about the 4th botulus? If it's about your story, I haven't read it yet. I know is up. I'm going to read it right after the stream. We can talk about it next week. I'm really excited about it. If it's about your fourth botulus, that's a bummer. Yeah, I've got really good feedback so far from the chat. Everyone's like, did you read it? It's really good. But I haven't yet. But I will. But I haven't yet. Yes, my story. I haven't read it yet. I'm so sorry. I know I was asking you last week. I was like, hey, you putting up some narrative stuff? But I haven't got to it yet. I'm stoked. Amazing work. Oh, that botulus. Hey, Chord Gang, it's very good. Hey. Yeah, so this is a thing that's like worth keeping in mind. We actually saw this twice at the event, and I put up a video a while ago for Worlds last year talking about like prepping for your event, things you should do. And one thing I'd recommend you to do, no matter how competitive the event is before the game starts, pile count your deck, like pile shuffle it. So if you're playing a 45 card runner deck, you know, just make piles of 5 and divide your deck and then shuffle those together, because pile shuffling isn't shuffling, it's sorting. And if you have a corp deck of 7, you do piles of 7. And the idea is that if you never land up, if your last card doesn't land on your last pile because they're divisible by 5 or 7, something's wrong happened. And I played against a player who was 6 cards short in their deck because they forgot to include Spin Doctors and Rashidas because they were in another deck because they play a bunch of decks at the same time. Thanks, you too. All right, this might be the nightmare matchup we talked about. And then, unfortunately, Erin had a 4th Botchus because she played against someone who had the same color sleeves as her. So, like, pile shuffling helps. It just stops that stuff from happening before the game starts. The story is my first Netrunner story, and it absolutely blew me away. Aww. All right, so if this is the sort of deck that we're worried about it is, I do think these are a bit washed out, aren't they? Is that actually what they look like? Opening hand, we have creative, we have diesel, we have the prepaid, so we can do diesel, prepaid. Yeah, this is fine. We don't have any acid tech, so like if they go for the remote server acid play, like we're in a bad spot. If this is like the Can Nats scoring op, which it looks like it is, that we haven't looked at the deck list, but that's a deck list we definitely should be knowing at US Nationals, because that swept relatively well through what's it called? The Can Nats. So the idea is that they can score this out. They have some tricks. I'm not sure what the influence spend on the list was. I know they're on 2 copies of Formicary. I think the list is on a Winchester, but I don't know where the influence went. So I think we're just going to go ahead and set up. So we'll start with the diesel. All right. Beth is not amazing. We definitely want to do prepaid into... Yeah, so I guess we can put down Beth. It might be a faster game, but we're at least at 6 here. I think I was imagining things with the card backs. Yeah, because this is what the actual card back looked like. It doesn't say Null Signal on the back, or sorry, Nisei on the back. It just has a logo. It's a nicer card back. It just feels a bit washed out. All right, so we're going to just Maker's Eye, because that's what we do. Cost of credit. We could have drawn once for an Onicom. Spin Doctor, I guess we will trash that. I don't think they're on hard-hitting news. Formicary to hedge fund. Okay, good to know. We actually don't want that in our hand. This is something that you want to, like, yeah, create a spark of inspiration. So we have a 50-50 on getting an Ngolo, 50-50 on getting the not Ngolo, on getting the last Impersigator. So it's cheaper to play this than go for the 50-50. I think no matter what we have, we're in an okay spot. So let's just keep our money up. Mana Garment Seamless. Oh, Seamless. That's good to know. Any place to read about that story? The story you can try on Null Signal Games. It's on the front page. It has an image of like people hiding behind umbrellas. All right, so for 2 credits, we can go get our breaker. Now, if this is a border control, we're in a bad spot. It's an Ngolo. So we have to overclock here, I guess. We could have just Maker's Eyed, but we've seen the top 2. So it's an envelopment. Okay. So we don't have to paint because it is a code gate. So what does this cost to break? 7. We have 7. We will never recover from this. So we can't trash Rashida. But that's an Atlas, right? 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 Oh, that's a Formicary, right? Yeah, they're considering resing the Formicary. We'll take the net damage. Cool. Atlas. Nice. Okay, so we have to play around Seamless there. We have no more money. This server only gets easier. What do they do on their turn? We didn't pay enough attention. Yeah, this seems like it's not running well. So sorry, that was us. So they credit, install. Okay. So the top of the deck is whatever it was before. -1. So Spin Doctor we trashed, and then it was Form a Carry, and then the next card's like a hedge fund. So I think we'll just do credit. This is kind of all we need. We just need money, because we have our one breaker. Sadly, no stories of Banhar Envelopment, Flatline for Nats. I did run into a Banhar Envelopment. I had enough cards in hand, though. But I did take 5 net damage running to one of these and against Op. So this sees 3 new cards. This obviously could be anything. We don't have to do this first. Let's draw. The twinning. Yeah, we could get the twinning down, but then we can't play this. I'd argue the twinning is probably pretty important. Let's draw for another econ card. This game is probably going to be too fast, so that's a seamless. We're in a bad spot. I think we'll fire this for 1 credit. It's nice to play just like honest multi-axis drudge work. Okay, Afshar, Sandstone. Okay, so we've seen 6 cards and whiffed. Not great. Likely to be an agenda then. They're running hostiles, so their average agenda is like 1.5. Our money is the problem, though. That's a really good draw. Rashida, okay. So they're going to break entirely lock. So I totally forgot what we saw. I think we saw an Afshar, a drudge work, and then a Sandstone. And then they have 1 unknown. We played 2 Maker's Eye. So now our multi-axis is Jailbreak and like getting the twinning going. So probably Afshar. They really need to make a play here. Okay, they're protecting R&D. That's really good for us. Okay, so Beth has been good. We can Dirty Laundry Archives. The more we draw, the less, like there's always a 1 in 28 chance we draw and turn off our Spark of Inspiration. There's 1 more Inversificator there, which we'd love to play it for 2 credits instead of drawing and paying 6. Let's draw once more. All right, well, I think we're going to play 2 events. An Onicum would have been nice. We could always install the prepaid. I don't know if we're going to get enough value off of it. I think we need to get the twinning going, though. So I think we do twinning, credit, and then we dirty... No, we probably just creative here. Right, this is an arrow threat. This is also getting weaker. That's the... Okay, remember, we know that they have the... what's it called in HQ? The drudge work. Hedge fund. Card and server. Okay, so this is on 1 counter. We know we can resist. There might be another Formicare here. This thing costs us... It will be a code gate. So we have a lot of plays here. Firstly, we can surf this thing in if we really wanted to. We can like play 2 to get 2, sorry, to get an Inversificator. Otherwise, we can Dirty Laundry Archives for 4 credits, Overclock for 4 more credits. That's okay. We can also just Overclock this. We know they have a drudge work. They tried to pull an Atlas without an advancement on it, so I think they have a seamless in hand. It's very likely. So we have some good incentives to run this. We don't want to let this fire. I think that has to be the drudge work. I don't think we run here. If anything, we run HQ. Breaking After costs us 3 credits. We could consider Dirty Laundry. We'll have 5 credits. That breaks just about all ice. They spin doctored. Yeah, we'll run HQ here. We can also flush HQ. If we see the drudge work in HQ, we consider running this. Yeah, that's what we thought that was. So it's a code gate, but it already is a code gate. And we can decide how many cards we want to see here. I think we should see 2. Seamless? Okay. Double seamless. Shit. If they double seamless an Atlas here, that's such a problem for us. This is no longer a code gate. So the only way that we can get through this is we have to paint this and let that fire. So we could just like overclock and get in here. I think we have to. We didn't see the drudge work though. But with double seamless, we're really in a bad spot. We can't let this fire because then, well, the end of the run, we can't let fire for obvious reasons. But if we let the op thing fire, this becomes border control. That's a problem. Double seamless and Atlas on turn 3 is how Radiant slaughtered me. Yeah, that's a really big issue. So we can either pay 3 to get, what's it called? Our Inversificator, but this one's not a good thing to inverse. We could overclock here. Again, we have to pay to make this a code gate because we mismanaged the turn maybe a bit. And then we have to pay 2, then we have to boost, and we have to break. So it's 2, 4, 5. Sorry, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think we just overclock the remote server and then we take 2 net damage or meat damage. If there's another form of carry, then we should do draw. Yeah. And now we can deal with the 2 form of carry. We're hoping we don't have to. So here. We'll just take the net damage. Love to keep the diesel there. We lost the best 2 cards. So wall to wall. Okay. So I don't think they have an agenda. They could crack the spin doctor first. Here, we don't have any money. I don't like we probably can't afford to trash that. So yeah, now we have to lock R&D. Because we know they have single symbols. I'm pretty sure if they had an agenda, they might have jammed it there. Here they can actually crack the Spin Doctor to get more value on the wall-to-wall. So we'll see what they do with it. They just gained a credit, so they just made a pad campaign. But if they wanted to crack their Spin Doctor first, they could have got more value from it. Trashing the Spin Doctor is like kind of nice if we want to play around Audacity, but I don't think they have agendas in their hand. If they had Hostile, they would have scored it. Yeah. All right, at least we got a free card draw here. That's nice. Server 3, so that's probably the Drudge. All right, third prepaid. Again, there's a lot of redundancy in the deck, so you can find a prepaid early and Anacom early, but there's a cost to that for sure. All right, I think we need to play the Spark sooner than later. We just need more money. That's good. That's slow, but it's okay. I don't know what that is. So we can hit the telework. I think we have to play this. It gets us one of these, and it means that we can't draw it. So now we have some good lines of play. They're cracking the Spin Doctor, so now they get the wall-to-wall value. They also see our deck. It's worth noting we reveal the deck here. So now they get card credit and advancement. The advancement has to not be on, it has to go on ice. Okay, so now they're jamming. The envelopment is like definitely still worth breaking, which is annoying. Definitely annoying, because you don't want to let that fire because they op a border control. Maybe other corps should be splashing envelopment to dunk on Banhar Hoshiko in the meta. Yeah, I don't know if you really need to, right? You also have Eula. Eula is really good. Jinteki, like the ice is, yeah, maybe. But yeah, Banhar and, sorry, Envelopment and Eula already do a lot of work. I don't know if you need to go further than that. All right. So let's see if they get an upgrade on there. All right, they just trashed it. So the question, what is this? Obviously, we know that's an agenda. Can we run the agenda? We've lost every overclock. Overclocks are really good. 5 credits to make a run is a lot of money. I think we just run it. Like with Inversificator, whatever it is, we just have to break it twice. We can let this fire. In theory, we should draw once. Okay. So now I think we just run it. We want to have a click left so we can deal with border control. I think that has to be a border control for them to feel good about this. Yeah. Okay, so we don't want to use Thingolo. It's a code gate. I think we can pay 1 credit here. I don't know. They can get 2 credits, I'm pretty sure. What 3 coster could they get? It would be Sandstone. And then we'd have to... it's actually really hard. It's really tricky. Swap on HQ if they don't bounce you. We have to fully break it. So they can, if fires here, as soon as we pass, we get priority. Yeah, you're right. They had to do that. As soon as we allow their subroutines to resolve, they don't have a paid ability window until after we passed it. So you're right. I think we goofed them there. Really good. It's already too late to bounce. No, they can bounce. They can use the paid ability window after we break, but before unbroken subroutines resolve. Yeah, they can do it during the break. We didn't talk about that. We put up a video last week. That's worth news, I guess. This we can fire. Hopefully it hits some amount of the prepaid voice pads. Yeah, I'll take it. Okay, that there is really bad for them. Okay, so we know where 1 border control is. We almost just don't want to run it. I think we want to just get money. Like, that's the thing is we play control. I don't want to draw. I don't want to install this because then we dry to SDF. That's good. But like when we run R&D, we see 4 cards, even more potentially. We just need to get money up. If they don't put anything in server 1, yeah, they have to put something in server 1 every single turn. And now we can surf through the after. We break the server for 4 credits. Hey, evening, Sweet. How's it going? Onicom. Maybe a bit too little too late. I still think this is the Drudge work. So we have an interest to run this. We didn't play an event. Like we haven't used our prepaid. Does it reverse fire and pass or when fully broken? When you pass? You pass. So we can run this, so we can surf it in, and then we can just break it again. So this costs us 4 credits. I think we have to check it every turn. They have double seamless. The cost is just way too high. Yeah, this is where the deck plays like full control. It's another wall to... Oh, we knew they had that in hand. Yeah, that's on us. That's okay. We'll just get money. This one again is also now a code gate, so we can surf this one. Like it costs us now 2 credits to run the server. Oh no, that's not true. It costs us, it won't be a code gate the second time, right? No. Okay, another spin doctor in. We have a good reason to run HQ here. Now, if they pop the border control, they can get a 3-coster on server 1. That's a bit bad for us. It's a drudge work, so now they get rid of agendas. So Oaktown is back in the deck. They advance this. This has to be an advanceable ice. No, it doesn't. It can be anything. So we're trying to play around like border controls to some extent. But again, we run R&D, we see a lot of cards. And they're shuffling cards back in. So this is good. So we want to pressure HQ. We want to pressure R&D. I guess you just stick a toll booth on the outside of the remote and this deck is hurting bad. Yeah, but then they move the toll booth to somewhere else, right? Like, as we just put the toll booth on HQ. I also did put a toll booth out. Like, they break toll booth for 6 credits. So, like, it's not the worst. You never res ice, otherwise any toll booth doesn't stay there. Exactly, yeah. Then the toll booth, it's like really, really hard. It punishes ice really, really bad. All right, so like maybe we want to run HQ here. If we want to trash the spin doctor, it plays around Audacity. And then like if they pop this, no, I think we just want to, yeah, let's just jailbreak. We have 10 credits. That's enough, right? Yeah, that's enough. But yeah, I just want them to pop a boarding control. If they do though, at least we can run HQ maybe. It's just our first Icewing counter. We have to be very strategic with our runs. It's another Afshar. Oh, that's a really rough res here. Oh, that's a really bad res, I think. Because now we can do that. Like now we can just put 2 Afshars on the remote server. This is where like it gets really hard. I think like if we think there's agendas and archives, we should ran first. I don't think there is. Dane, hope it's all checking on my honeymoon before bed. Hawaii is a bit better with Netrunner. How's it going? Happy honeymoon. Hopefully you're doing all right. Sounds like it's going pretty good. Mavirus, okay. I don't think we trash that. We want them to draw it. Managarm, that's worth trashing. Above the law, definitely take that. We'll take that. That's it. Deck seems reasonable. Good game. Thanks for the game. Like it punishes this sort of ice that's positional, like very, very punished, heavy punished on positional ice, like border control, Afshar, moving around the forma carries that you fire. Like this is, there's an upside to this ice, which is the way that it interacts with Managarm, but like they don't punish the downsides of this. So a deck like this, like I'm surprised how functional it can be, as long as it's not like, imagine they put, you know, stuff on the table, hard A news. Good luck on the version. Thank you. Miss Neverdy Eyes for this kind of tomfoolery. There's other things you can do, right? Like you can play, and people have argued, like, can you play a turbine in this deck? Like you have extra MU. It helps a lot with these breakers. The problem is that like it poisons the pool of Spark of Inspiration. Like that's the downside. But there's an argument that the 1 in 5 chance of you ripping the wrong thing is probably worth it. Yeah, but yeah, Neverdy Eyes, you know. Spark, what's it called? Turbine's the new Neverdy Eyes. NRE is so cheap to play. It costs like 0, right? But you have to take meat damage. You actually don't mind meat damage at all when it comes to Anacom. Thanks, you too. All right, so we're assuming this is going to be the sort of Ismari. We're going to play some events for sure. Opening hands and networking, that's really nice for the matchup just generally. We can face check into the ice. They get 2 credits when we play it, but boy, do we get rid of the tag. Sparking to Turbine isn't that bad. It's not the worst. It's like not great if you want to go fast. Like in that matchup, probably didn't want the Turbine as their first breaker. So our opening hand play here is like Sure Gamble to Beth. And a Spark. Yeah, we'll keep it. I don't feel great about this matchup. This one's trickier, for sure. I don't know what that is. Gaslight, some shit. I don't know. Name event? Yeah, you're going to get it. We can draw once here. So you have to do prepaid credit Sure Gamble. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather do Sure Gamble Beth. So we'll draw once more. They seem to do like a 4-2. Really bad. Rashida, quite bad. But we need a setup. I think we'll just credit. I don't think we really want a card draw. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we kind of do, don't we? I'd love to play 2 events. Unfortunately, we're not. Do we draw first? Ooh. Ooh, now we're 50-50 again. Okay. This card, what it does is pretty wild, right? Like getting a 6-credit Spark of Inspiration out of your deck on the table, like that's kind of really good. Obviously, your mileage may vary, but it feels good. Planogram. Okay, so some of the more modern versions of this sort of deck are playing Planogram. I forget who posted a version. They're like, yeah, Planogram, sick. Oh, this is nice. For real, for real, for real. Drawing the breakers in this deck is so bad. It's really bad when you actually have to play this for 6 credits. So I think we don't play the prepaid this turn. Like, I think we're going to hit Telework, use Telework in the other order. And then, like, do we play the prepaid? Gives them more money, but we want to play one event a turn. It's going to happen. That looks like a Rashida. Our goal here is just don't get Harding News and set up so we can deal with the remote server. That's our turn for sure. We'll draw once. Okay. So we'll set up with this. If we set up with this, it's not like we're going to get value from it this turn. So like we go down to 7, whatever. We're going to play it. The other neat interaction Spark has, making you draw all your programs before you use it. Okay, could be a Bologna. Could maybe not be a Bologna. I love the install double advance. It's like such a good play if you think it's a Bologna and it turns out it's the Crypto Crash. My favorite Spark moment was when I sparked into an SMC and realized the mistakes we made. Yeah, Rahid, how's it going? It is, yeah. You really need to change how you build your deck. If you put Spark in any like Shaper deck, it's like any Shaper deck is real bad. Okay, well, we probably want to steal it. If it's a Bologna, we don't. But if it's the other one, we really do. NGO? Yeah, you're right. The deck does run some NGOs. I think you're right. If it's a Bologna, we let them score it. If it's an NGO, we're fine. So we're just going to continue to do our thing. So what is our thing? Play a couple events this turn. Just get more money than we have common sense. So we'll draw once, hit that, hit this, whatever. Reversed accounts, that doesn't see a lot of play in these decks. It's just a Bologna, it's fine. Oh! Huh? That was a re-education. This looks like a re-education deck now. What? Imagine not packing Test Run to stack your Spark of Inspiration. You're not playing Concerto? Best case there? Yeah, that got even better for us. Let's be honest. All right, well, I don't know what's happening anymore. We got a credit. All right, so now we just need to find our multi-axis. So I need to hit this before we do anything else. Yes, got the good one. Let's go. Yeah? Yeah. Interesting. All right, well, we don't need a second versificator, so I'm okay here just hitting this button. There's actually a chance that we want to keep another versificator because they could be on Ping Keegan Lane. Average NBN deck? No, this one's a bit weird. Economic Warfare? Yeah, I get it. All right, and we've set up. They scored out a tempo negative agenda, and it's going to cost them a lot. All right, so let's do server 1. So what was the other card we saw in HQ? All right, Economic Warfare. Yeah, fine. Let's go R&D. They get 2 credits. We gained a bit more. It's an Enigma? Oh no, that's not good for you. I think this might be Solomir, your deck. All right, we have control over the board. It's a Bologna. That's expensive. Okay, well, no, I think your deck didn't have that. So now if we install this, we go down to 11. But we have a networking. We're so powerful. Yeah, I can afford to do that. Tempo Economic Warfare? No, I think Tempo Economic Warfare is good, and you're seeing it more often than people holding it. So like also with a what's it called? The Spin Doctrine on the table? Yeah, Tempo Economic Warfare makes sense. I don't mean to like downplay the Tempo Economic Warfare. I think that's fine. Yeah, networking easy. They gain 2 credits, we clear the tag. We pay 1. Honestly, there's some cases where it's better not to use this if we don't want to give them an event. Yo, I lost the networking so hard on the weekend, like so unbelievably hard. All right, so we just know hard-hitting news and whatever the other card in the hand was that I forgot about immediately. All right, we want to get into our twinning. All right, we know Maker's Eye connects 100% of the time here on the sports state, not ironic. Don't have Mad Dash, but this is what the deck does. It just like plays control. It's kind of okay. As long as there's not a terrible meta for you, which like you can imagine a bad meta for you. This is too much. This is enough. Here, the worst we can take is 2 tags. Okay, Funhouse. We're just going to move this onto HQ. So we break it for 3. Yeah, that's actually better. Oh, whoops, I made a mistake. I forgot about that. Oh, if it isn't the consequences of our actions. Let's do that again. Classic, I know. I needed to push it away. You can go here. We've already played an event this turn, so what's it called? Tomorrow's headline's the only ugly thing. We will trash that. Okay. Networking? Okay. We have to watch out. Harding News is a real thing. I've seen Whistleblower pop up a little for Bolognas and Obacadas last week of Cycle, everyone playing with their favorite old tech. I think with the one that you shuffle back into your deck that turns off both your abilities, that one's reasonable. I think Whistleblower is still really hard to recommend, but I think the other one, Direct Access, is actually like a fair bit better than it looks. Enigma and Planogram do fit into the rush rig shoot style. Yeah, well, you also didn't play Economic Warfare, so I think this is actually like an Economic Warfare Harding News deck. We haven't seen any punishment, maybe boom, but they're not Harding News. They're just sitting back. I respect that. All right, well, we saw a couple cards. I immediately forgot what they were. The last one was a Funhouse. The second one was like a hedge fund, I think. So we have no real incentive to do anything here. Again, we haven't drawn our Anacoms. Anacoms are so good. So if we run archives, we get more money than them. I think that's just important enough in this trade because we want to get 5 clicks with Beth. Let's just say that's our goal. Echo Chamber QPMs. I don't know. I would assume more QPMs. Maybe it's an old school deck with Echo Chamber. It's been a while since we've seen those, but you're right. That could work. We'll draw once here. Order was bad. Okay. So now our other 2 copies of Spark are entirely dead, which is like a bad feel. So I think here we just click for credits. Like, what else are we trying to do here? Direct Access also has the inside job guy, so it's cool. Yeah, shit, he has a name. Boris something. Like, we could consider dirty laundering because it gives them value. I'm just going to do credit card, and I'm going to hope that they don't trash our programs. Yeah, I'm assuming they're on only 6 3-pointers and then like 2 Echo Chambers. Because we've already seen 2 NGOs, so like that's different. This is not in this sort of like Laura's Mari modern versions. I wonder if we're going to see the 2 credit attitude adjustment card too. All right, so that could be the Funhouse we saw at the top of the deck. Planogram, back to us. All right, so the top of the deck is totally unknown, so we're just going to send it. We have 5 clicks too. They gain 2 credits. Forgot Boris was using Cipher in that bathroom. All right, it's a Turnpike. That one actually is annoying. It is a code gate though, so we can break it. 2 credits is not bad. Swap it? No thanks. But like, we're just going to lock the top of the deck. Honest Netrunner. This draws a card. Eula. Okay, I need to remember. Echo Chamber. Okay, so that answers that. That is a win condition. I think they could have an agenda in hand. I don't think we have to find out. Draw credit. Obviously, order there is not good. This is a dead card. So they drew a Eula. We really need our twinning fast because we have limited multi-axis. We also know this is Funhouse, so we always can like move the stuff around in a way that we find interesting. They might have 1 agenda in hand because we haven't locked the deck. Like that has to be an agenda because that wasn't drawn off the top of the deck and it's been in hand for a while. Right? Because all they did is install. Okay, so they have 17 credits. We're pretty sure that's a Funhouse. We're pretty sure that's a Eula. So that means the Eula being a code gate doesn't really help us. Top of R&D is unknown. If that's an agenda, what is it? Boris Sifir Kovac, thank you. Yeah, he was a draft ID. But I think that could be an agenda. The problem is like, is it the tomorrow's headline? If it is, I think they're on 6 agendas. I don't think that's tomorrow's headline. So I think we can let that cook. All right, so again, this costs us 1, 2, 3. It costs us 5. We have 5 clicks. Let's just try and find our twinning. Okay. No twinning. But we have a Maker's Eye. So we can do Maker's Eye. Sooner you get twinning. We're losing so much value because there's only so many triggers of prepaid you have in the deck. Yeah, let's just go. Let's lock the top R&D. This might be what's it called? Rashida, I think more likely. And again, we could, I think we're just going to hammer R&D. So like we can disassemble the server. Rashida, Bologna, economic. Okay, so we don't have Mad Dash. Whoa, we don't have credits either. Okay, so they have an economic. They just drew an economic. They have a hard hitting in hand. Server 2 is maybe the last Echo Chamber. They didn't fire it. Could be a Spin Doctor. But top of R&D is unknown again. Just running R&D. Just plain honest. The most honest Netrunner imaginable. Besides Inversificator, which is like nonsense. But yeah, now there's only 3 more agendas and 22 cards in R&D. So like, good luck. Was that a 3-click creative? I don't think so. Wait, did I actually? Was that? No. If it was, that's bad. It was last click, I'm pretty sure. Economic loses 4. Yeah, okay. You can hard hitting news. We'll just hit the networking button. It'll be annoying. Yeah, I clicked telework at some point. Okay, they did it. So they did double economic into hard hitting news and didn't do the board state. So they're going to spend a lot of money on this. They're going to gain 2. And we're just going to spend our whole turn and play networking over and over again. Networking. 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 Cool. Let's go. Astro Channel now on Twitch. They drew? Okay. That was like my 20s. Big. We saved 4 credits that turn. We could have saved 5 if we thought we'd never take any tags anymore. So we saved 4, they gained 2. So we saved more than they, it was not good. Genuinely not amazing. If this fired Onicom, it doesn't. But now they're panicking. When your opponent networkings you, you absolutely tilt. It's obviously better than clearing the tags. I'm telling you the actual value. It's big value. All right, so we need to recover our money. Again, they didn't advance the card, so if it's an Echo Chamber, that's fine. I think it's likely to be Rashida. We've only seen 1. They are drawing unknown cards. We've also gone through 1 NGO friend. So again, we know they're not on the ones that we have to run or it's a problem. So we can just sit back and do nothing. And we could consider like dirty laundering to see what this card was. I don't know what it was. Like, I don't know if they're on snare. I'm not running last click. Networking busted, please ban. Yo, I think they added this. This was pointed out on like Stim Slack or somewhere, but it says the system update like might rotate. Basically, they're saying like system update is not a permanent thing. And like, I genuinely think Null Signal at some point is going to rotate system update and just like only have their cards. So like, I don't know what happens to the cards in Ashes or Sure Gamble or stuff like that, but like, they can't res this ice. Again, I don't think we have to run this. Imagine playing Shaper from Misdirection. Like, I don't think we have to run this. It's 10 credits. We know this is 6 and we know this is 5. So like, do we run it? It's a Rashida, right? Just in time, Onicom. Yeah, 13 cards left. Let's go. Yeah, it's rough. So I think with Dirty Laundry Archives, Overclock R&D for a single card. In their bottom 2 of our deck, we have 1 Jailbreak, 1 Maker's Eye, 2 copies of the now what's going to be useless card. It's really hard to win off singles here. Of the twinning, which was good a year ago. All right, well, we'll just go for singles. You can get 2 credits. Join late. Is it just me or did the card backs look faded? Yeah, they're the new card backs. They do look very faded, but these are the ones that don't say Nisei on them, right? Like the modern card back. They threw out a boom. They overinstalled the... What was in the remote server? Wasn't there a face down in there? So we don't really have a huge reason to play this because we can get more value next turn. So we'll just run R&D for single. This is where like you really need multi-access. You cannot... I don't think we can afford to pay for a single here. We could have run here and force them to res. Ping is a bit annoying. And what was the face down? I hate that. It was a spin? Yeah, no, but they installed the spin on top of something, right? Like the turn they hard hitting news, there was something in here. It looks like it was a Rashida. Are they flooded? Because I think we've been seeing them top of the deck. Yeah, Julian, you're asking, are they flooded? They might be. But like we've been locking top of R&D for a bit. And we actually ran HQ twice, so I'm not actually sure what happened. I think we can consider running here. I don't think they can res it. Might have installed an agenda and overridden it. I think that's actually more likely. They installed a 5-3 and then overrode it and recovered it. But I'm pretty sure when we ran, there was a face down there. All right, so Rashida, they have an economic warfare. Install, advance, advance. Okay. So that clearly could be it. Now, if they score that one out, then we have to worry about Echo Chamber. We don't have Pinhole Threading. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we just don't have in the deck. Can we deal with 4 ice with a single Inversificator? No. But we know this one doesn't require Code Gate. We know we can get through this one. So I think we actually can just send it here. Is there lab access in this deck? No, Jackson, that card doesn't exist. It's rotated out a long time ago. Oh, unless you mean the dog one. Also, no. I mean dog one in terms of quality and also what's on it. So we can just overclock this off 15 credits. Remember, we have to get in there with 5. I think we can do it. You like the dog one? Yeah. Maybe we want it in this deck, so if we ever like mess up our sparks, we can put the cards back. Okay, so we can either smash R&D for 2 cards. They did just fire Rashida, so going HQ is like kind of reasonable. I want to see what this is. Because mind you, they have to res a bunch of ice and then still have credits. Toll booth. Okay, phenomenal. So we know this is 6, this is 5. So they can only functionally res 1 more piece of ice. This has to be an NGO front. We break it for 4. That's not good. Well, less than 4. Swap? I don't think we're going to do that. Andre not on Team Dog? No. I have a cute cat here. Don't make me do that. Put the card back, making them think of the Crim drawing resource. Name slip my man. Mr. Lee. That's a Eula. Okay. So this one we can go through for 6 credits. Again, if it's an NGO front, it has to be an NGO front for this to be a reasonable play. I think we're so far into sunk cost fallacy that we're just going to let that fire because they can't res anything else. Oh, shit. I have to click the 6 times. There's a button to do this by clicking on the ice. There's no ice they're playing that costs 1. So either we win or it's an NGO front and the game continues. If it's an NGO front, they should have cracked it by now. Damn it. Stop cutting coming. They could have, yeah. Okay, well, they have money. We don't. So now we just click 2, right? And then we try and win off Jailbreak. I think jailbreaking HQ at some point is pretty reasonable. We played an event. I feel like maybe we should have not ran that. I think that's a gut thing. And I didn't feel strongly about my gut. I don't know how they play. I don't know them. Not being an NGO there would be wild. I think they have to push for it. Like at some point you just push for it. The thing is like we can still run this. We need an overclock. Classic sunk cost fallacy. All right, so we assume that is the final one of the agendas, right? So there's 2 agendas and 13 plus 5 cards. So the odds are not great. Mind you, this cost us 5 and draws us a card. I'm going to do it. We also now can use the Enigma and put it like somewhere else and then try and run this server cheaply. Ooh. Ooh. That's a bad ice for us. Oh, there's a twinning. Thank God. Yeah, we needed this like 10, 20 cards ago. Because this really limits how many cards we can see. So we know they have economic warfare in hand. We probably should go HQ. We have no HQ pressure in the deck besides this twinning. I think we just click 3. Do we ever run this? No. So what's left in 11? We have one Maker's Eye. Yeah, that's not great. And now we have to run the server every turn they put something in it because of Echo Chamber. A Blockade Runner? I think that's still legal. Okay. So it's all about that. The last maybe 1 or 2 Echo Chambers. They did shuffle 1 back in. We know they have an IP block in hand. They drew an IP block. That's a terrible draw. Draw. That's dead. Draw. Okay, that's good. That's a really good card. So we have only 1 more Maker's Eye. We need to find it. Draw. The game is going to be too slow for that because we can lose as soon as next turn. So we're just going to click for credit and then throw out all this nonsense that doesn't matter. I think there's an interesting point there. We should have just clicked for credits because all we need is money. We know this is a fun house, which doesn't end the run. So there's a chance that the ends the run. So here, if it's an echo chamber, we lose unless we had a pinhole. Then it's Trickster Taka. Why is this in the deck for 3 influence? Oh, because of, yeah, okay. Because of the twinning. I get it now. Yeah, twinning, yeah. So true, but I don't know, I guess. So if that's the echo chamber, we lose. If we have a pinhole threading, we'd be totally fine here, but we don't. So we can try and win. Do we think it's more likely they have it in HQ or R&D? We know HQ is 2 IP blocks and an economic warfare, so I don't love going HQ. Infinite 20 fuel, amazing. So I think we have to go R&D. I would love to draw a Maker's Eye. We have 3 draws of the Maker's Eye, so we have a 50% chance. This deck has 3 Maker's Eye, right? Yeah, of course it does. We've only played 2 of them. So I think that's fine. Otherwise, we lose the Echo Chamber. Twinning Overclock R&D. I think we'd rather do twinning Maker's Eye R&D. So that means we can install that. We can draw twice, right? Wouldn't you rather legwork cybernetics than twinning? In this deck? I don't think so. Because you can make 1 good run a turn. So like you can't really do wake very well. Legwork, maybe. I do think legwork is interesting, but influence. I think we can draw once for the Maker's Eye. Shit. So we can draw once more. There we go. We have to check whether we're going to have enough credits to steal. There are no Bolognas. Nice. Virtuoso. All right, so we probably lose this turn, and we're just not going to respect Hardini's anymore. We don't have to respect Bologna either. Otherwise, like in theory, we should have let that subroutine fire because we're going to be 1 credit short. Good luck. Thank you. No worries. I got scared. Yeah, I think they have it in their mode server if they're wishing us good luck. So we're looking for 2 agendas. They might have them both in hand, but again, we know 3 cards at least in hand. And this is the most access that we can get. This 4 access. It's really good. Draw, twinning eye. Yeah. We don't have to break all these. Not that will matter. But we have no clicks to lose. You feeling lucky? The twinning, if we win because of this twinning, that we get 1 counter on? No? Uh-huh. All right, we got there. Good game. Did you have the 1 pointer asset in the remote? I thought Echo Chamber had rotated. Yeah, it's rotating soon. I think it is the Data and Destiny card. But we saw 1 already. It's the last 1 in 11. Yeah, nice. So they had it in their remote server. Yeah. Oh no, this is Katara. This will be around forever. This is not even Data and Destiny. How's it going, by the way? Game of Droids. Nice. Anything in HQ? So again, what we were doing, just tunneling, you see how they like it totally warps how they play. Like they feel like they need a 4 ice remote server, which we gave them so many credits. There's no way around that. Ismari's just going to get credits, but like just smashing into R&D over and over again kind of works. And they had 1 degree mill, so there's only 1 agenda. That's what they're saying, 1 in 11. So the 4 in 11 there was pretty rough. I think the 1 in 11 obviously is way worse than the 1 in 5. But the problem is like we could only see potentially 2 cards from HQ. So seeing if we assume they have 1 agenda in HQ, we would get 2 in 5, seeing 2, as opposed to seeing 4 from a 1 in 11. Has anyone, can you run the numbers? I don't know what the math is on it. Yeah. Four on 11 looking for 1, or 2 on 5 looking for 1. I knew you had double IP block and HHN in HQ. Don't see 80% of the points scored at the end of the game often. Yeah, that's kind of the poison here with these 3-pointers, right? Like there's only 1 more agenda in the game. Don't love it. 1 more agenda in the game. We have to steal half the agendas in the game. That tracks. They threw out the HHN. I think if they had 1 more, like, I don't know. Networking does that too. It's like, if we got hard-hitting news, it actually does suck for us. Like, there's no way around it. How do I show hand again? I don't know if you can. /res all? I don't know if res all does show hand. Assuming the equal density 1 and 5 is better than 4 and 11. I mean 2 and 5 out of 4, 11. I can't show hand. Yeah, can't. I don't think you should. Yeah, so we called the funhouse here on the remote server. So I think if we were like more ambitious, we could have moved the ice around and like just said, oh, we're going to camp the remote server. And like we can make the remote server Enigma, Turnpike, like some nonsense. But it costs us something else. Classic 6 agenda, love to see it slowly. I know where is. Dump cards and archives and res all. Oh yeah, you're right. That's okay. Yeah, we know they 2 IQ. 40% HQ versus 45% of R&D, but really it's just 5 cards versus 2 if you can't make an assumption about where it is. I think we could maybe guess they had one in hand because they drew pretty aggressively. I think they did Spin Doctrine to Rashida and they didn't produce... Maybe they produced 1 agenda from it. But yeah, you're right. It's just 4 at 11 is higher. Oh, thank you. Thanks for the game, eh? Yeah, it was a fun one. Let's do one more. I don't know. It's like, this is what's so weird about this deck, is this deck does not look good to me. It just like doesn't do a lot of the stuff that you fundamentally expect a deck to do. Mind you, Onacom is like one of my favorite cards and we haven't played it so far because it hasn't shown up on time. But like the basic fundamentals that this deck does is like surprisingly okay. It's like better than it looks. And it's like that sort of, I don't know if I want to say outsider art, but like that sort of, oh, this is going to be a Smurf, huh? Like, I don't know. It's just like another angle on something that I don't think I would come up with. Spark is a good card abstractly. It can be, but it forces you to do a lot of weird stuff for deck construction. Spark is unarguably a good card. It just comes with a cost. Okay. CTM. We played this matchup on the weekend as a CTM. Didn't love it, but we're not good at assets. We have no asset tech. So we're going to trash a couple cards and then hopefully we get set up. Amani is a real problem because it can return to hand some of our 6 cost cards. Hey, best of luck. Have fun. This hand's really good though. That's unarguable. Overclock's really good for assets as well. Good night. Have a good scoop season. Thank you, Zevelbod. Stay tuned as soon as tomorrow to start seeing some cards, huh? Reg running is boring. All right, we don't have we don't have a dirty laundry here. Yeah, our kit ability is going to be somewhat relevant. This is where you love networking. So do we just overclock? What do we need to trash here? A Rashida? I'm going to overclock. We hope we don't steal an agenda on this one. A Regolith? Okay, we'll trash that. And then we have some money for the trace as well. Did they mull? They kept. So here we might as well pay 4 because it saves us a click. And we're just going to check the whole table. If they have Economic Warp and Hard Hitting News, they have Economic Warp. Lady Liberty, they can res that. I wish I played that on the weekend. But I actually think we don't check the last one here. It's not that we have a good click. But if they have Lady Liberty, that means they won't put an AR in hand security on the table. They'll just score it from hand this turn. So they don't have a 1-pointer in hand unless they want a Hard Hitting News us here. Because Lady Liberty, mind you, we didn't see the card. This allows you to spend your whole turn to add an agenda to the score area. You don't get when scored effects, but if they have an AR enhanced, they'll res this for 5. So, all right, we can at least do setup. We have to watch out. Bologna's we're expecting, so we want to make sure if we're accessing with a modicum of credits. That's pretty good. I think we're going to wait until there's something we really need to trash. So this is 2 clicks. We can draw once more. All right, well, we asked for twinnings. They gave us too many of them. Maker's Eye was only +2 cards. It's not 45%. It was either, yeah, 4 from R&D or 2 from HQ. Ah, it's a Regolith. That sucks. It feels like, I don't know, CTM, so much of the money is tied into Regolith. I don't think we're going to trash this, but now they can easily res this thing. Let's keep going. All right, we drew 1. I think we actually can just jailbreak here. Yeah, we should have instead of drawing. Like, I don't know what we want to see. That's a bad thing. That's the worst thing to see. Ah! Regolith too strong. Man, I don't like playing decks where this is a good economy card, but like it feels like in this deck it's a good economy card. All right, so we don't know if they're on economic warfare or not. Just gonna keep drawing. 11 to 12 is okay. Trashing this might be wrong because this is a really big part of our multi-axis thing. We know they have a hard hitting. Regolith hard hitting. We got networking. We don't have networking here. We actually probably could have dirty laundry there instead of drawing. We know they have market forces, so we just have to clear all of them. Like, nothing to it. That sucks. It's really bad when you do that poke on R&D to see the hard hitters. You go, oh shit, I should have changed my turn. I think if we click for a couple more credits, they would spend a bit more, but like, it's fine. They're not going to win quickly. The most they can score off of this is 6 points. I don't think they have another one. Let's start Diesel. All right, so we'll do Dirty Laundry to Creative. We'll check this because it doesn't look like we're going to run anytime soon. San, okay. They can spend money on that. And we're back. Easy as that. We're back. I'd rather than pay money for this because we were 2 Regulus through. Like, they can't afford this. I think we need to run HQ. The problem is, like, a ping is pretty bad for us. An IP block is not great for us. We drew 2 of our inversificators, so, like, can't feel great about that. But they definitely have agendas in HQ. They've gone through 15 cards. We'll draw once. Do we just run HQ? Like, Turnpike is really bad. Yeah, I don't think we can afford to. I think we just have to continue to set up. I don't want to pay this for 6. Please don't make me pay 6 credits for this. Can we get down a Trickster? I don't think we're interested to do it. I think we can draw once more. Just take a credit, maybe. Need to get Taka going? I don't think we need to. It's like, how soon do we plan on breaking ice? Right? Like, for Taka to be good, we need to install Taka. Then we have to install 6 credits from hand, and then we also have to break ice just to get value from this. I don't care. Like, for Taka to be good, we also need to get twinning down. Like, nah. I'd rather play prepaid off the top. I'd rather have a Fueno. I'd play Fueno here if we had Fueno. But nobody invites Fueno to her party. Oh man, are they flooded? Digging for Spin Doctor? Fueno is goated? You know that's not true. Don't lie. Alright, that's probably Spin Doctor. Poor Fueno. Imagine if all 4 companions were really good. That's a Gaslight. We have to trash that. Okay, this is where they're going to res this thing. So we're going to overclock this thing. We've already taken the CTM trace, so we need to bring down the Lady Liberty because they're very likely to be able to score something. So that goes down for free for 1 credit. Now we can just remove the tag, click for credit. Slower than we want, but we're tactically trashing things. Hey, Paul, how's it going? Good evening. Narwhals are cooler than otters everywhere, but Netrunner? That's actually very wrong. You would be right, like, I think 90% of the time, but then you picked, like, the coolest animal. Everyone thinks narwhals are imaginary. Like, what are they called? Ligers? That can't be real. Classic CTM game runner with no board, but why would we install stuff? Okay, so that could easily be a Rashida. Could also just be a 3-2. If it's an AR enhanced, it's like kind of bad. So much of this is like, imagine we top decking a networking. Oh, this sucks. This is not good. I don't like these last turns where I click for a credit. Like, I'd rather be drawing through a deck and probably just discarding our worst card. Yeah. Yeah, Rashida, that's bad. But we didn't run. Oh, Subliminal comes back. Okay. That's an interesting inclusion. I feel like Subliminal is so win more because the games where the runner is running, like, you literally don't have a board state. If the runner feels comfortable to run, you have nothing. All the commands are good. Puemo, Miami, Taka, and Keiko. Yeah, that's true, actually. All right, we can run this. What are we looking trash? I think Gaslight. Oh, that's another one, whatever. So this is 2 clicks for 2 credits. Fine. The thing that we're worried about. Okay, so now we have to deal with this. Oh, it's worse. Oh, that's really cool. That was a cool trade. So we have to deal with this. This is where this feels bad, right? Like, we need to install a breaker to get through this. I think this has to be a toll booth. Otherwise, they're going to score out a Beal here. If we trash it, they score off of this. Like, we are doing nothing. We're literally doing nothing. So I think we just have to, like, do the money thing. So we'll draw once, we'll install this, we'll hit that. Unless we hit a... No, we didn't. Yeah, that sucks. Pretty hyped about the next set reveal. I assume you're going to do some stream in that regard. Yeah, we have a spoiler video next week. We'll be streaming on Thursday. It's awkward. Like, I usually do a stream as soon as I can when the new set is out, but like, there is a big ol' nationals on that same weekend. It's not in the new meta, unfortunately, but like, I don't want to stream at the same time as that. No talk install? Yeah, you're right. We probably could have. That's true. It's okay. We have to deal with both of these. So like here, I think we have to pressure HQ. They're like definitely flooded. Let's start here. All right. Like we can't afford to trash these. We just have to get accesses here. The set's not out till Monday after Nationals, I think. Oh, it's on a Monday. Okay, then that's fine. That's fine. Totally fine. All right, we've seen this one before. Oh, that's sick. I thought it was on the weekend. Yeah, you're right. I think we should swap this on here, but I don't. Yeah, okay. That was a really good hit. We needed that. So unfortunately, our code gate has been code gated. So installing Taka now here seems a bit perverse. Our order there was a bit bad, but imagine we had to clear tag. So now there's only one more 3-2 in their list. And they found it. No, they didn't. We have to watch out for Amani Sinai. Amani Sinai is a big issue. That will absolutely stop us in our tracks. So we're going to run server 8. If that's a Beal, Bologna, they can do advance, no. So are they on 4-2s? I don't think so. I think we can check server 5 and then check server 8. If anything, we can overclock server 5. Let's start by checking server 8 in case it's a spin or an Amani, because we don't want to get this returned to hand. It's a spin. Okay. Might be on re-education. I'd be really surprised. We don't have to deal with that. That does break R&D lock. I don't want to really run this that bad. I don't think it's an agenda because it would be safer in HQ. It's probably a Bologna. They could have seamless. That would actually win the game. Yeah, they could have seamless. So I'll go for it. Pad campaign carrying their econ? Yeah, for sure. I think in every CTM game I played, nobody trashed the pad campaigns and they gave all the money in the world. Here they don't have a good incentive to res, so it's a bit of a weird overclock. Oh, never mind. Okay, good overclock. Surprised they resed. It does use this so we don't trash, but we're not trashing Sansan. We just want to see what this is. It's like a Prisec. Cursed. It's another spin doctor. Okay. All right. Feeling okay? We could have used a Taka, but we're in no rush to do that. We'll draw once. Do we run archives? I don't think we want to. That's better. And then we'll try and lock from there. You could have broken with Investigator to swap it around. Yeah, I don't know if we want to swap this around, right? Like I want this central to be weak. And if anything, we can move that off there. But like, I don't think we're going to run this server that much else. Arizon, how's it going, by the way? Like I want to run HQ here. Here they could get the last Beal or the AR enhanced. They drew a subliminal, mind you. Yeah, so now they have to shuffle both spin doctors. That's good. Should we put the twinning down? Too expensive? I think it's a bit too expensive. Okay, they have one of those down. So now they clearly don't have the last Beal in hand because they would have scored it out. So now with all their spin doctors out, to some extent, we just need to lock R&D. Finally learned to play Netrunner again for Nats last weekend. Oh, how'd it go? So here we just like Maker's Eye. We probably do twinning Maker's Eye. I think we can't respect credits when they're on 5 points. I don't think they're on snare. Still haven't played the damn Anacam. I was top NBN at least. What were you playing? Nice. 3 credits is not bad. Sorry, I mean 1 credit. So we're going to see 4 cards. We're going to win. We take a tag. We trash that. I don't think we mind if they draw that. I've heard about this deck. This is a Toronto thing. This is some sort of Toronto Smurf. Or an unbanned Smurf. All right, we have to take that. We have to take that. Yeah, I've heard about this deck. All right, now we just have to keep our economy up. If they hardly use us, like economic warfare is the problem here. Like we want money. So in theory, we should stay on 7. If we go to 9, it's really bad. So staying on 7 is actually one of the best things we can do. Interesting. So they're drawing Rashida. So I'm just going to do draw here. Again, if we go to 8, they can economic. Otherwise, like, because economic is 4 if able. We know this is a Sansan. We know they don't have it in hand. Yeah, that's fine. Smurf, but interesting watching. Yeah, this is cool. We're like barely holding on. Cool thing when we run R&D, we always see 2 cards because of this interaction. It did not go well. Oh, that's just Sadstug? You think this is just Sadstug? Is this Sadstug? He was talking about this in chat. It's his pet deck? Okay, cool. That makes sense. I was stoked to see Sadstug in person this weekend. I didn't know he'd be at the event. Last weekend at the Z-Bag. All right, so that could be any ice. We didn't see anything in hand. That's probably the Rashida. And we know the Rashida's drawing 2 unknowns and what's it called? The one we don't care about. The red one, the Vinchin. All the Smurf emojis are him. Somebody won with the golfer emoji, but I think that's like from the I don't know who that was, but I'm pretty sure what testing group they're from. So one of these is a Rashida. We can't deal with that. If they top deck the Beal, they top deck the Beal. So we have to break some ice. Don't know what server 9 is. Aside from brick. Yeah, brick is brick. Shit, okay. So we still have to break some ice this turn. There's a chance that this is an agenda. I'm just hoping the Beal, like if the Beal's in the next 3, we're in a bad spot. I think we just run R&D and C2. I don't think there's any way around it. This is probably IP block, right? Did we see one of those? That's a Rashida. I think one of these is the Rashida, which like we want to see the top 2. They were going to draw 4, but like what can we do? Yeah, I think that's a Rashida. That's probably not the Rashida. I don't know what that is. At this point, we don't exactly have to play around what's it called anymore? The teacher, Amani Sinai, because we're on game point. They're largely on game point. That is interesting. Now we can just break one subroutine here. I really don't like smurfing, but I guess it leaves out the playing field on playstyle knowledge. It's like, there's a huge advantage if you're a top player and you're playing online to smurf, which sucks. Which I love how the players who are not like will stream or whatever, but like, yeah, there's a big incentive to smurf. So people don't know who you are, how you play, stuff like that. Like it's unfortunately the truth, but I have a huge respect for players who choose not to, because I think it makes it more, I don't know, it just seems more reasonable. It just seems more like, I don't know, community. It's like, that's a bullshit statement. But yeah, I think you know what I mean. So this unfortunately won't be a code gate. We don't want to surf this one. If the Rashida fires, they got good credits. So basically the Rashida files the Beal when in a bad spot. It's only the Beal. No idea what server 9 is. Could be a spin dock. But this we can at least break one subroutine so Taka doesn't absolutely end us with a tag. We can obviously charge the twinning, which would be nice. Otherwise, we can pay 3 out of pocket, lose 1, C2, can't even steal Bologna, so I don't think we should do that. So we're just going to do this. And I'm just going to end the run there. So this seems a bit slow. It's still 2 clicks for 2 credits. We have some incentive to draw here because we need to find multi-axis, but we can run R&D and C3 cards. So we're just going to hope that they don't have it. Or even we could hope that the Rashida fires, they draw Bologna, we can go HQ. Kill Rashida, it's really hard. It's behind this, and then we take 2 tags. I think we just roll the dice that they don't top deck a Beal. Load-bearing pad campaign. It's community. I don't blame him, not a drama or anything. It's just part of competitive, really. It's before people start showing up to Worlds in disguises. Yeah, no. Who is this Racer X character? Look how fast they play. No, but for real. There's like a huge incentive to play as a Smurf online, unfortunately. It also takes the pressure off of you, right? Like anyone who plays who's like a good player that people are watching, like, I wonder how this player does. Like, you know, Gunslinger or whatever. Probably Agendas and Archives. I might have to clear it before the 3 dig. I'd be surprised because they fired 2 Spin Doctors and didn't shuffle. We're on 6 points. I don't think they had to leave Agendas and Archives. But now with the Spin Doctor, we really want to run HQ. I think we flush HQ here after we run Archives. Our deck have any pinhole? Nah. The influence in the deck is like not what you expect. Okay, interesting. Or some way to kind of spell interesting. So we have a good incentive to run HQ. One of these could be the winning agenda, but like, I don't know. It's a wild play. I think they'd keep an HQ. We haven't seen daily business shows. We haven't seen the Keeling, which easily could be one of these. So I think of anything like we run Archives, see if they shuffle. Then we run HQ and see 3. Nah, I guess we don't shuffle. I think we just run HQ and C3. It's interesting. I think we just run HQ here. The other options run R&D. I just don't want to float a tag. Let's see if they shuffle here. They might. If they do, that's really good. If they don't, that's really bad. They didn't. Okay. So we see one shipment from Vlad. So they only have 5 credits. So this can easily be IP block, which we can surf. So I think we run HQ and see 3 cards. I think that's more likely to win. Just signing in to dribble a little love on that like button from Andre Housekeeping. Thank you so much. How's it going? I appreciate it. It's very kind. Very funny. Like lean hand then? Yeah, I think we flush hand here. I think they probably drew a Bologna. Because obviously they drew a Beal. It's just there's still 2 Bolognas, right? Now if they res this, it's a problem. Again, to score they only need 2 credits, which will only be 1 credit with Pad Campaign. Let alone there could be Rashida. But yeah, it's all about the Beal, the Bolognas. Because if they drew the Beal, they would score it. They drew the 3-1, they probably scored as well. Played this deck last night against a PD deck. Access 9 cards R&D. Didn't see a single Jen and Kevin. Yo, sometimes that happens. If that's the case, run HQ, right? But yeah, I hear you. Ooh, neat. It's an Archangel. So they can still score out next turn. They'll have 2 credits, maybe more. So Archangel, we can either trace 6. That's not good. We can also surf it. 5 to break. Okay. I don't think we have to use all of this, but I think we would probably lose this turn, especially if there's a Rashida on the table. So I think we have an incentive to use all the Chaka counters we can this turn. We can surf it, or we're going to go through this for a tag. I think we'll take the tag. It's cheaper. Because this costs us a credit and then 2 clicks on a credit. Otherwise, it costs us 5. On the debrief, he was floored. Flooded live and yeah, live and learn. Yeah. I don't think it really matters. You can swap, eat the bounce off the makers. Wait, what? You can swap? I don't know what that means. Wait, I don't know. I'm not sure I follow. What does that mean? You can swap, eat the bounce off the makers. I don't know what that means. Oh, like swap it and then just like Hail Mary R&D. Oh, I see it. Would he say that because there's something in HQ? All right, this is a tag. Just let it fire? Nah, because they bounce the twinning. It's cheaper for us not to let it fire. Because we can't break this, right? So we have to use our Taka counter on it. Shift it to R&D? No, this is fine. Oh, I think you're right. Yeah, we should have shifted on R&D. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, wait, I think you're right. No, because if it fires it, nah, it's fine, nah. Because I do think we need to protect this. Whatever. He says to keep saying to surf it, but the card's been rotated already. All right, so we're going to see 3 here. Hope for the Bologna. It's good to know. Whoa. Oh, ooh, that's bad. That's really bad. Huh. Huh. I think we missed it. I thought we'd be over there. Maybe we lose, though. He has to top deck it or have another Rashida here. No Rashida. So the Keeling's in hand. So what's on server 11, 12? Price X? It's Jover. Okay, so that can be the Keeling or the Price X. Is Jover streamer talk? I think I've only heard it from like watching Ludwig nonsense. It's not Jover till it's Jover. Okay. Now I think we go R&D. What is that? I don't know. They had 2 credits. If they had it, they could have scored out. So I think we just take the Telor credits. We break this for... Okay, hold on. This costs us 1. This costs us 5. That's 6. So we can see 2 off the top. I think we're going to put the whole game here. Y'all ready to cost the whole game here for 2 accesses off 10 cards? I almost showed the deck. I was like, what's up in the deck? Let's look at it. All right. Let's look at what we got here. In this deck of 19 cards, we have 2 Maker's Eyes. We got 2 Jailbreaks. I think the only one we can afford to play here is the Jailbreak. I'm just going to zoom in. No, we can't ignore all that stuff out because that does have an impact on the conversation. So we need to get through this. This will cost us 5 credits because we're going to use the Taka. And then this costs us 1 credit. That leaves us on 4 credits. We need to have 5 to steal Bologna. So we have to click for 1. That's definitely going to happen. Now we can draw into an overclock. No, that's impossible. We can draw into dirty laundry. We're going to draw once. Comically bad draw. Okay. So now we just have to click for credit and we have to send it. We're going to float a tag. But this doesn't matter because this run wins. We win on this run. Because if he doesn't have it, we're going to have it. I did the math perfectly. There's no way that he can't have it and then we don't find it here. It's impossible. Swap endless EULA. Sick. We have a tag. I know it's probably the tallest tail end of the stream, but I want to pop in and say hi. Lumilla, how's it going? Thank you. I stumbled through that. Just plus tag. Hopefully you're doing well. Are you excited for the new side? All right. 2 cards. Win every time. Credit perfect. Good game. We did not have to take that risk, but boy, were we right. That's the Keeling list, huh? Oh, you know, I'm excited for the new set. Hey, you and I both. So there's maybe a Keeling in server 13, but I've heard rumblings about this deck. It's like kind of funny how Keeling you can put into any ID and it's okay. The argument that like an NBN with economic warfare hard news is the real punishment there. I guess you should have 80 influence. Keep bringing it down. Yeah, that's a thing that you forget. Oh, it was the Lady Liberty on the table. Okay. So that's another way they can top deck out. But like, this is useless, right? They would just score. They have 2 Vinch and Keeling. 2 Keeling in their deck. Oh man, yeah, but this card, like, we had to deal with early. Trashing the right assets is cool, but like, it's so weird, this deck. It doesn't seem like it has any legs against the things you need. We didn't have a networking. Mind you, we cleared, I think, maybe 6-7 tags throughout the game, so that like saves us 6-7 credits. That's something. But like, such a weird deck. And like, I kind of respect it more than I think I would. Like, it's neat as much as it is like super straightforward. Dang, you're so good at Netrunner. Thank you. Yeah, but I heard rumors about this. The idea is like they have to run for the Keeling and then you economic warfare hard hitting news, which is not a combination you often see with Keeling. And I guess NBN pulls that off relatively well. Need to start printing no influence cards that aren't agendas. Wait, like anyone can play them? Thanks for the game, eh? All right. I think that's it for tonight. It's near to midnight. I got to go to the dentist tomorrow morning. That's always fun. Again, on this channel, we put up a video earlier this week about going through the timing structure. I think I liked how that turned out. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. I've responded to the comments. It took me a while. I was on holiday, but yeah, I think that hopefully helps with some timing stuff. We also now have some new cards. We have a spoiler season coming up. It's starting as soon as, it's probably like 8 hours from now. No single game posts in the morning, at least for where I am. It's kind of not the morning in other places of the world. And we're going to have our spoiler video up, and the community is going to have their spoiler videos up and spoiler content up, not just videos, all over next week. So what you really want to do is keep your ear to the ground. Things like green level clearance, StimHack Slack, Reddit, people are going to be posting stuff and sharing stuff. I think it's so important that you go and find all the nice people who took time and effort to do like spoilers content to get you as excited as they are about new content, and go check that stuff out and spread the love. We're going to have a couple cards up here on the channel. We'll be back on Thursday for a regular stream. This set comes out like basically next week, just about, which is so sick. So I'm really looking forward to that. And again, tournaments coming up after that. Good luck if you're running into any tournament in the near future, because there's a lot of good stuff coming up. But yeah, do check out. There's going to be a lot of stuff across a whole bunch of different channels and platforms. Some of you might not expect. You're going to have to do some digging. Spoiler season is really fun. Cascadia, are you coming? Unfortunately, no, I'm not. I don't have my my passport just yet, but it's a very busy month. I have things like every week after that, so unfortunately I couldn't make it. But I've really... Oh, we didn't talk about that in the news. Tickets for Worlds are out. And they're actually like selling. Like, they're not that I'm surprised, but like when I bought my ticket, there was... The number was to the point that I was getting scared that there wouldn't be tickets. So do just watch out. The tickets for Worlds, which is, mind you, in Barcelona in October. Mind you, I think Flesh and Blood Worlds is also in Barcelona this year. But the tickets are out, and you can see on this thing. Wait, where does it say? You can buy the tickets. Yeah. Grab them now. It's 75 euros. I think that's technically more expensive than it was last year. I'm not sure. But yeah, I bought my tickets for that. So I'll definitely be traveling for that event. Got to get my passport into line. But yeah, you buy those sooner than later because they will sell out. I have no doubt those will sell out. Yeah, 80 something left exactly. Yeah, it is going to sell out. So do that sooner than later. Super excited. Thanks for streaming. Of course. Hey, wonder if you need this Bologna money in the last turn. If you can't steal and they draw it, you're still good, right? The thing is, like, we'd have no reason not to access with 5 credits, because if it's a Bologna, we win, and there's still 2 more Bolognas. But if they draw the Bologna and we don't have Bologna credits, they'll just jam it behind the Eula and we'll have another problem. So we probably just want to win there before they make us spend more money breaking more ice, right? Like, if you access with 4 credits and then they just top deck the Bologna, or obviously they could top deck something else, they install it behind a Eula and another ice, and then, like, we're in a really bad spot. We'll miss you. Yeah, no, hey, I appreciate it. I really wanted to make it out. But hopefully in the near future we can do some more traveling for that. Yeah, anyways, that's all. Take care, y'all. Enjoy spoilers week starting as soon as tomorrow. You can steal the Bologna outside the remote easily. I don't think we can. Like, we have to get the Eula and then the Bologna. We spent all our money on that run. Wish I could travel for worlds. Bummer. Oh, on that note, Dan mentioned on the podcast today that, like, Dan is still setting up the run together, that sort of help support system. So if you're going to worlds and you think that financially doesn't make sense, you need a bit of assistance, do check that out. You can find more information on, it should be on nearthub.net, but there's a system that was started last year that basically they're selling a pack of alt art cards, and the revenue generated from that is being used to help people get, that's so called, sorry, Run Together fundraiser. The funds from that are helping to get people to worlds who otherwise couldn't go there for financial reasons. So even if you need a little support, if you need a lot of support, don't be embarrassed, whatever. This fund exists for people to use it. So if nobody uses it, it just goes nowhere. That's probably not good. So, and again, anyways, if you want to go check this out, it should be open. I think today it was posted, but you get to see some of the new card art for this pack, and the proceeds go to help it in getting people to worlds. So do reach out if you don't know about this. It's pretty cool. Some good stuff. I always got to study this stuff too, because it shows up on tables and I don't know what the art is. I'll check it. Yeah, do, for sure. For sure. Everyone's interest is to get everyone at worlds, which is sick. Anyways, that's all. Take care, y'all.